Hello, everybody. Welcome to another MerlinCast. I've got another special guest, a familiar face. He's been on some podcasts and done some videos with me in the past. Say hello, Mr. Vaughn the Stampede.
What up, doe?
I am already going to go off the rails because I want people to know that might not know. Uh,
Mhm.
well, obviously, you and I, we kind of go back a little while. You're another one of the Green Clan Phantom Group collaboration people talking about anime and stuff. So I remember you used to be Phoenix Kai originally, and then
Mhm.
you changed your name to Von the Stampede, which I always thought, and I think you told me this, is kind of a reference to certain anime characters. So can you give me a little history on the name and why you decided to change it? I was curious about that.
Okay, so let's start off with Phoenix Kai. Phoenix Kai, I was just randomly just making up stuff in my head, like okay, Phoenix no, I was thinking of a Beyblade at the time because Kai
Beyblade.
had old school anime of basically of stands and spinning tops. But one of the characters was named Kai, and he had a bit beast was called Dronzer, and it was a phoenix. So I just added that, and then for a while I was kind of sick of that name because I couldn't spell it correctly. I couldn't spell phoenix correctly. So
Understandable.
whenever I was like doing like not promos but like monetize my channel during my college exams, well not yeah during my college exams, especially for graphics design. It was just like, man, I cannot spell this correctly. So I was like, you know what, let's scrap it, let's change it to a new name, let's use my real name, Javon, let's take out the J and the A. And then I was watching Trigun, and I was like, Von the Stampede, and I was a fan of Trigun. I'm still a fan of Trigun. I was like, Von the Stampede, that works. The Stampede train, that's awesome, that's cool. And I just took that name ever since because one, it was a lot easier for me to remember, and it was a lot easier for me to, write it down and spell out for people who didn't know who I was or bothered to care.
Okay, well that's fair. I do like the name, and I if it makes you feel any better, I changed my username a couple times
Yeah.
too. So it happens, but I do like Vaughn the Stampede. Though I think when I first think of you, it's always Phoenix Kai first because I know you for so many years like that.
It, it,
Now,
it, oh, go ahead.
oh no, continue.
I was like, it's fine if y'all call me Kai. That's how y'all was first introduced to me. So fine. I'm not like, man, like stop calling me Kai, man. Like I don't play that shit, bro. That's
Wasn't sure. We were
bro.
like, I don't know if you're irritated. We call you Kai.
Oh man, it's fine, bro. It's better than being called other things. So
Yeah, that is true. There are worse things to be called.
yeah,
All right,
so,
man. Um,
whatever.
okay, main question, I guess, introductory. Your channel, kind of like Dead's, kind of like Zoro's, kind of like everybody's lately, has gone through a
Mhm.
lot of shifting and changing, rediscoveries. I remember you kind of did a lot of anime stuff, and I think you transitioned a little more into gaming, which I think you still do some gaming, but your channel has actually really taken a new shift in most of its content. It's actually music related, I think R&B and stuff like that. So please tell me, I like some of your videos. I noticed they've been getting a lot of good feedback. So what's been going on with that? Tell us about that direction.
So let's start way at the beginning.
Please.
So like everyone else was like doing like anime channels and whatnot, like reviews and all that other stuff. I was doing that too, but I wasn't doing like chapter reviews. I was talking about like Digimon and the old 90s anime, which was my thing. And then later down the line, I was starting to lose interest in it because it was just not like getting like the views I wanted, and I was not happy doing them. So I started talking about like the Pokemon stuff. That was cool for a while, but at the same time, like when I look back at those old review videos, I'll be like, oh God, I am mumbling, I am stuttering, I'm sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. So I was just like, okay, let's talk about Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball. And then for a while, I didn't care about Dragon Ball. I'm like, screw Dragon Ball, whatever. And there's like thousands of other channels that's talking about Dragon Ball. What makes me so different? And I was just like, okay, let's talk about music. I like talking about music. No, wait, before the music, I was doing like live stream gaming on my channel. That was not going anywhere. I was like, okay, this is kind of boring. I was not having fun. It was like becoming a chore. Then, okay, we get into music now.
Aha.
I like music. I like rhythm and blues. That's something I really grew up with. So I did a video called top 5 unsung episodes that should be made. And if you don't know what unsung is, basically like VH1's Behind the Music. You remember that?
Yes.
It's basically talking about certain artists that's in the R&B field that hasn't got enough credit from like the big artists. So if I talk about, let me see, I'm trying to think of an R&B artist that is like pop that people may know, but then they're like, oh well, they don't really talk about that person. Like I'm sorry, I'm just saying someone from the top of my head, like the Gap Band. They made that song, "You Dropped the Bomb on Me."
Hmm.
Like, you dropped the bomb on me. Oh, like, can I play it real quick?
You know what? With copyright, I'm gonna say no,
No. Okay.
because you know how it is with music on YouTube. But
Okay,
I'll
but
take your word for it.
but they made that song, "You Dropped the Bomb on Me." It was on the soundtrack was on that song was on Be Kind and Rewind, whatever.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, well, I like talking about those type of artists. And then someone who I used to talk to at the time, they was like, why don't you just make your own? I was like, you know what? All right, I'll make my own. I mean, so sorry, screw it. Because copyrights. I mean, copyright. Because I don't want to get you in trouble. So screw it. But
Thank you.
I was like, yeah, you're welcome, man. I was like, all right, screw it. Let's just make my own unsung episode. So what I did with the formula, I looked up Mojos on how they did their documentaries of certain artists, and I looked up the unsung episodes because those episodes they are really high production because they have like the music artists talking about their falls and their biggest hits and what did they do after their career was over.
Hmm.
And I kept doing those, and I think the first episode I did was a band called Immature. And if you don't know who Immature is, they was basically, how can I explain it? Let's just say there was like three Chris Browns at the time.
Oh, oh wow. So
But
they would have
except,
been pretty big, yeah.
yeah, so they were like three Chris Browns at the time. And do you remember the show Sister Sister?
I do, vaguely.
Remember their neighbor Roger,
Hmm.
boy, a little kid when they kept saying "Go home, Roger."
Oh yeah.
He was the lead singer in Immature.
Okay. I had no
So
idea about that.
yeah, he was the lead singer in Immature. He did R&B. Um, he did other things. And when I was doing that episode blew up. So I had like maybe 100,000 views on
Wow.
the episode. And there was some people who liked it, some people they didn't like it because I didn't pronounce their names correctly. I was like, that happens, it's whatever. But people kept coming back when I started like started doing those episodes more and more. I did Tony Tone, I did Living Color, the rock band,
Mhm.
I did the Mary James, Rick James group, I did Anita Baker, Terrence Trent D'Arby, um
Wow.
who else? Another group I did. Not Tevin Campbell. Soul for Real. I may do Tevin Campbell. If you don't know who Tevin Campbell is, he did the song "Stand Out" and "Eye to Eye" from the Goofy movie.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so he if you look up like the story on him, it was like wow, he was really popular in the '90s, and then stuff happened. I
Stuff.
yeah, stuff happened. Let's just say the police caught him doing something he wasn't supposed to do.
Ah,
And I just how I do these videos. Sorry if this answer is really long, but
no, it's fine.
how I do these videos, I gather up all the information, I take notes. This is just example. I know you can't really see it, but I take notes of who these artists are, play a couple of their songs. I do use their songs for like copyright purposes, just to like give you a feel on who this artist is, because I just don't want to like, oh well, this person was born in here. I just show a picture. You just have to take my word for it. I use interviews. I use sample clips of like music they did to give you a real feel that you like, okay, maybe even if you don't know who this person is, you probably want to check out their stuff because, hey, you seem like you're very enthusiastic on who these artists are. And yeah, man, I really like to talk about these artists who don't get the credit enough. A lot of people kept asking me, hey, will you do artists like Michael Jackson and Prince? And I said no, because they're too big, because I think people already know who those artists are. We already
Mhm.
know the story about Michael Jackson, Prince. Like, people kept asking me to do James Brown. I was like, yeah, he's way too big. It can't be people who is huge. Like, if people ask me, like, someone asked me to do one on Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff, and I was like, that's a maybe, because I know some people forget that Will Smith did hip hop before he became the Fresh Prince, and then we already know where his career took off. I probably would talk about
Hmm.
their rap, Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff. You know who DJ Jazzy Jeff? Yeah, that's basically Jazz from Fresh Prince.
Well, I would say that I see what you're saying because Will Smith, obviously, it's funny. Will Smith, back in the day, he was a pretty big person in that scene, but maybe his acting career has kind of taken over that. I'd be interested to see, like,
Yeah. Like, I
that.
would talk about his rap career, and
Mhm.
that's it. I will just end it on, well, you already know he didn't do anything else, just to, like, as a joke. But we already know, people already know who Will Smith is.
I actually did he do anything else like recently? Like, when was his last album?
Will Smith as like an artist,
Yeah.
he did a remix song Lucas something. Hold on. I'm just looking up the song
Okay.
real quick, because he did a song with Joyner Lucas.
Oh, him, yeah.
Here I am. Hold on, let me. I'm just typing Joyner
So
Lucas.
that would be probably pretty
Yeah,
recent
Joyner
then.
Lucas, and it's a song called Wheel.
Oh, okay.
So Will Smith did a remix with that. I was like, okay, well, Will Smith is doing something. I know, like, we all know he's doing other things. So
Okay. Well, that's cool, man. I remember watching your videos, and I think stuff you did in school, seeing some of your little projects. You really always were into making documentary type stuff. So this kind of fits in with that interest for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. It really does, and it's a lot easier to do, especially when people's like a lot of people really love like the unsung stuff, because that's like my popular videos. Like, I either get like 100K or like 2K or like 40K. It all depends on who the artist is. Like, heck, I didn't know people so passionate about Immature, a obscure band, because really, I say people who probably heard of Immature, who are not fans of them, is probably from All That. They was in All That a lot. Like, if you remember, um you remember Good Burger.
I do.
Like, one of the, like, okay, there's a weird video called Let Me Do My Thing, and it's like a crossover. It has Cal Mitchell dressed as Ed, and it has the band Immature singing and rapping with Cal Mitchell dressed as Ed, right? And you're thinking this is a promotion of the Good Burger movie, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, this is just a video tie-in to the movie, but it's not. And it's like, yeah, it's not, and it's not in the Good Burger album. And I thought that was very weird, because it's like, come, you have like a tie-in, just put it in the album, just put it in the movie, and it's not. It's bizarre.
Yeah, that would have been obviously like an interesting tie-in to promote it. They did that stuff back in the day. It just reminds me, we grew up in a strange time. The 90s, some weird stuff on, man.
Yeah. I wished I went depth in those videos, but I didn't, because I was like, well, nobody really remembers Immature like that unless you was around that decade. I remember them because I know I did other artists, but I remember them because my sister was a fan of them.
Okay.
I have an older sister, so she was a fan of them. But like, artists like the Gap Band, Anita Baker, Terrence Trent D'Arby, those artists, a lot of people already know them, even though they're like, even though they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're not bigger than other artists. But like, you heard of artists like Tyler the Creator, who use samples of like the Gap Band and his music. Like, if you remember the I don't know if you watched the Grammys, but Tyler the Creator was in Grammys, and you see Charlie Wilson, he's the leader of the Gap Band, and you see Boys to Men, they're singing backup, and uh, a lot of hip hop artists take elements of R&B. I really like that, especially with hip hop. So
All right. Well, that makes sense actually. You know what? You kind of bring me an interesting question because oftentimes I'm kind of like I don't really care that much about the Academy Awards
yeah, yeah.
personally. I think that they kind of overlook a lot of movies that I personally enjoy.
Mhm.
So looking at it from a music ceremony point of view, if you follow the Grammys, how do you feel they do as far as rewarding artists, like deservedly or not?
Man, it just all depends because I don't really watch the Grammys like I used to back in the day. It's just like, okay, I guess they're giving it to that person because I guess either from popularity or a word of mouth. Like I remember Tyler Creator, he said, I don't remember the exact way he said his speech, especially what he said with hip hop. He said there are certain artists who deserve a certain attention because most artists don't get the attention they deserve. Sometimes people hand out the award just because he used an analogy saying like it's kind of like you're playing a player one controller while you're giving your little brother or cousin the player two controller that's unhooked. You're just
Oh,
giving that award just cause it's like, oh, here's this award because I don't know, you're a minority. And it's the same thing with I remember a time where the Grammys, they didn't really look at hip hop as a music genre.
when
It's
was that?
this was like years ago, like maybe like the 80s. Like I think the hip hop genre when they started like adding the section best hip hop album was like during like the 80s.
That
So I
makes
think
sense.
I think Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff, they won their first hip hop Grammy. And
Oh,
it just wasn't like looked upon as like something great because hip hop was still new.
it was.
Also, it was during that time where hip hop was entering the gangster vibe. So you know how certain people how they feel about gangster rap during that time.
NWA.
Yeah, so it was just like, well, we can't nominate NWA. Screw
They should have.
like, hey, that's the police for best rap song. That wouldn't go down well. So they just was like, okay, let's do something a little safe. Let's do Will Smith, DJ, Jazzy Jeff. That's pretty safe. So
Well, could you actually clear up something for me? Because
mhm,
I was actually, I've always wondered this. As far as the origins of hip hop go, whenever I look back at the history of it, I've
mhm,
often seen that Sugar Hill Gang is kind of cited as like the first kind of rap group. Is
mhm.
that really true, or is there someone that preceded them that might be a little more obscure?
You know what? It could be like a little more obscure because like hip hop been around for a long time, man. Like we go to the early 70s before they was around. There could have been more. There could have been like other groups who just never been discovered or never had their chance to broaden into the live stream. Like
Okay.
heck, you had I'm not like a hip hop head or anything like that,
Hmm.
but like for example, like heck, man, like what's another group? Like for example, like we're heading back to R&B. I'm gonna talk about Living Color real quick.
Okay.
Living Color, man, that's a great rock band. But
Yeah.
they never got the recognition they deserve because, well, they were a black rock and roll band group.
Really?
Yeah, and like a lot of studios was basically saying, well, we can't sell this. We're not gonna understand this. It, it could
What?
it, it could be it could just getting its foot through the door to mainstream. There probably was like a rap. Oh,
No, oh, I'm just curious because you mentioned I wanted to ask you about. Okay, first of all, you did a video on them, right?
yeah, I did a video on them.
Okay, because I was thinking if you hadn't, you should.
I
Well,
already did
I know that's awesome. When did you do it
it.
actually?
Like months ago, December, I think.
Oh, nice. I'll have to check it out actually. So yeah, I do know of them because I'm much more of like a hard rock, heavy metal guy,
Yeah.
and I will admit I'm not. I always assumed that they were popular because they're often cited as because they were black and they rocked really hard. That's why they were well known. But you're saying within the community that it was like, no, because they were black.
Yeah, man. I even put snippets of interviews of them talking about their experience of being a all black rock and roll group, because they was saying like, hey man, we dealt with people who just didn't understand where we was coming from, or saying it was too different, and it was just saying like they Living Color themselves and saying rock and roll is a expression of freedom. So you're basically putting down on us because we don't look a certain way. And another thing, those guys was just as good as the other bands like Rat, Guns N' Roses, Alice in Chains,
Oh yeah.
or any of those other bands. They could play alongside with them, but music companies was just like, they didn't want to really push them like that. Like
Want to market
they had
it.
to get they had to get Mick Jagger to help them promote their first album. And I'm not saying anything bad to Mick Jagger or anything like that. Mick Jagger was saying like, wow, these guys can really play, and they're minorities too. That's awesome. And it's just like wow, like they had to face a lot of BS because hey, just because of the color of their skin.
Well, that does not surprise me, but I'll be honest. I always thought they were the exception to the rule because like no, I did because I went back in the day when I was growing up and I was like listening to a lot of heavy metal records and kind of going through the greatest hits. Usually, in like at least some collections, they were usually listed there as being
Yeah.
like essential listening. And I'll be honest, I I sing Cult of Personality to myself all the time to
Yeah.
much of people's chagrin around here, but
Yeah.
how many albums do they have though? Because I'll be honest though, I'm not an expert on them. I don't know many of their songs.
Like I think they had like 6 or 7 albums from 1990 no 1987 all the way to, let's say, 2015.
Really?
Yeah, 2015. It's just that album with Cult of Personality, that was their most popular album. And during I said like the mid 90s when gangster rap was like doing their own thing, they were still hanging around. They were doing their own thing. It was just like they had differences of what the band was heading towards, because a lot of bands was like dropping off during that point where if you was like you was a Guns N' Roses, and then you're going from 91 and grunge band is so popular, but then hey, grunge band is not so popular anymore. You got alternative adult radio, and then punk coming back, and it was just like so many things coming back in style, where Living Color themselves was just like, okay, I don't know where we're heading to, but hey, let's separate. If things go the way we want it to go, all right, let's stay together. If not, then let's do something else. It's really interesting about listening to like those type of bands is not fitting into the certain minority. It's like, oh, okay, because again, I know I'm repeating myself like a robot, but they was going through a lot of racial tension. Like I remember one of not Mud Skits, but one of the guitarists was saying like some dude was like throwing like a middle finger up at him during his whole performance, just fucking with him, man.
What?
Just screwing him. I'm sorry, man. Just screwing with him. And it was like he said, well, he said it is what it is, man. It's like I can't do nothing because I'm performing. And yeah, man. Yeah. Go check out my documentary.
No, yeah. Now I feel bad because like that sounds really interesting to me. I'm gonna have to check out. See, the thing is, I'll be honest with you. I'd seen a lot of your videos, and I'm like, he seems like he's liking these. He seem good, but I don't know anything about this. So I'm like, yeah, but like I didn't know you did one on them. I like to learn more about them. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that one out.
Yeah,
And
like they like the reason why I chose them, like I know my video is heavily R&B based, but they done some elements of R&B in their music. It's really not hard. Like you don't have to be an expert. Like there's a song called Love Rear Its Ugly Head. That is basically a blues and a rhythm and bass song mixed with rock melodies. It's right there. It's right there. But a lot of people kind of was just like didn't know where to put Living Color into, like in the rock genre, or are they just a funk metal band? It was kind of like we don't know where to put you guys.
That might have had something to do with their difficulty. I'm all right. I'm definitely going to check that out. And you're actually giving me some other questions because this is actually interesting. I'm trying to keep it in the realm of something I know a little about so I can ask you more. Well, okay, obviously Living Color. Now, around they kind of were in this difficult time where they had their racial issue to deal with, and then obviously hip hop was
Hmm.
growing popular, and gangster rap was kind of reaching its popularity around that time. So, how do you feel about Ice T's band?
Oh man. um.
Honestly.
Uh, you know what? I heard one song from him. It was "Cop Killer."
Hmm.
So I really can't say if their band is good or not. I just heard that song and I was like, oh, okay, that was different. Because it wasn't like, oh man, that was cold. Like if you compare that band to Living Color was just stomp on Ice T band. It felt like it to me. I kind of feel like when I listened to that song, not trying to play down Cop Killer, but then they played another song. It was just like, oh, okay, it seemed like your typical garage band. It really wasn't like anything groundbreaking. It was like, oh, Ice T's doing something different.
Yeah, I think he was imitating a lot of metal guys at the time, and so I
Yep.
don't think he I don't know if he had as much talent surrounded with him as the Living Color guys. They definitely seem like they have a more unique sound,
Mm.
whereas he was imitating Megadeth and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it was just like, oh, well, that's nice. He's doing that. That's something different. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't talk about it because his background is more gangster rap,
Hmm.
and that's where he fit in. And he had a lot of controversy with that song "Cop Killer" because Warner Brothers was kind of like, hey man, I don't know, man, this song is kind of like a little edgy, but then it's kind of like, hey man, history is like repeating itself. We got the whole George Floyd thing going around. So it's like, well, maybe he had a right. I mean, well, maybe he should have had that song came out. I mean,
Hey, I mean, I think as long as it's still an issue, we probably should still talk about it. So
yeah,
yeah, it keeps coming up. It's clearly still a problem, and I'm
yeah.
like,
It is. Of
ugh,
course it's a problem, man. It's like
still,
it's just like I'm not trying to turn this thing into like a racial issue or anything.
it's
But
getting
it's
there.
it's 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 a problem. It's still going around, and you got some people say, "Hey man, why are you talking about this, bro? I'm like depressed." I'm like, well, screw your depression. This is something that's happening now, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, actually, no, it's very relevant, and I promise we'll take it back to something a little bit easier later. But heck, we could talk about more significant things on my channel. I think we should sometimes. I mean, okay, well, I don't know if I've ever really talked to you about this, but being a young black man, I mean, how do you feel about it, honestly, like day to day, really?
Hey man, I'll be real with you, bro.
Uh-oh.
I feel like I have a target on my back every day just because of the color of my skin. And that's
Really?
something I really have to think about every day. When I'm outside of that house or when I wake up the next day, I realize that I have people in this world who can give a crap about me because I look a certain way. And it's not me being hard on myself or anything like that. It's just society itself. It's just like, wow, bro. Well, you're African American, and some people just gonna label me or my people just dangerous because that's the way that they were taught. It's like racism is something taught. It's not something that's born with.
Hmm.
It's like people. I hate when people use the word "but." Like you could say the word "but hey, George Floyd was not resisting arrest, and he still got killed. Like I remember an episode on the Boondocks. I remember you seen the Boondocks, right?
Of course.
Of course. There was the episode of the Xbox killer that really got to me, even though I laughed. I really love that episode. He was saying that Tom was an upstanding. You know who Tom is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom is an upstanding citizen, got a clean cut, got a prosecutor or whatnot. And but then he was saying like it doesn't take much for a black man to get arrested at jail, and sometimes you don't have to do anything at all. And then that scene kind of just struck a chord with me because they had guns on they had like 30 police officers on Tom who didn't even do nothing at all. He was just he just fit the description. And it's real out there. It's real out there, man. Like, dude, man, be like I remember the scene off of Menace to Society where I don't know that actor's name, but he was in that show Rock, but whatever. He said being a black man isn't easy. He said you're the prey. He said no, the hunt is on and you're the prey. And it's just something I just think about and be like, damn, bro, like at any moment, man, if I see like a cop car or a cruiser, bro, that could be it for me. That could be it. And then they could have, and like, hey, oh well, R.I.P. He probably had some drugs or something. He probably was crazy. It's not for African American or minority. It is not hard to get shot. It is not hard. You could just be minding your own business, or they'd be like, well, you look kind of suspicious, like that bullshit.
Yeah, it's all like I mean, just that ingrained perception, is still there. That fear of, I guess, just people that are different. There's still a lot of that, unfortunately.
It's like hold on, I'm my bad. Like I just want to add something to this. It's like we had a recent issue that happened in my state, but it was in a different county where I guess this couple was filming the police doing something, and I guess the police thought that they were threatening them, and the police officer was hitting this guy's wife.
Oh,
what the fuck? Are you fucking insane?
just because he was recording him?
Yeah, for recording shit. And then the guy had the husband, thankfully, he had to jump in to fight off the police officer because he was beating the shit out of his wife. Like, are you kidding me?
Man,
are you fucking kidding? I mean, sorry, man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. But are you kidding me,
it's fine.
bro?
No, there's stuff like that all the time coming up, unfortunately. And yeah, I mean, I just think it's, well, you know what? I'll ask you this. How do you think, like, as a society, we're heading the right direction? I mean, I guess we are. What do you think is? I know that like change is a slow process to improve, but what are some things you think we could do to make that less likely to happen?
Look, man. I say change is very slow because this country was built off of racism, man. Off
Yeah.
slaves, bro. I hate to say it, but hey, bro, it's been built off of racism ever since, bro. Like you got officers you're hiring like officers who's basically trying to get a pass just by killing minorities for free. And you're basically hiring people. It's weird. You're basically hiring people who don't know how to handle situations in another way. It's basically shoot first and ask questions later. It's like you don't have to do much to get into the police academy. You just go from high school into the police academy. It's not that hard to give someone a badge and a gun. It's like these people who are hired to be police officers, they don't want to protect and serve. They just want to abuse their authority and think they can do whatever they want. That's
I guess the problem is that there's definitely more of that slipping through, and I think the sad thing is it's been an issue for a long time, and we're just seeing it a lot more now because of the technology available.
Yeah,
I think.
Go ahead.
No, I think that's really what it is, and I'm tempted to say, there are probably a lot of police officers out there that actually are qualified and do go into it for the right reasons, do want to protect and serve. But like when you're hiring them, when you're training them, how do you determine that? And then, and maybe it's like, well, maybe there are just more that are just there initially that we're just seeing more, and it's a much bigger problem, racism seeping in. And in those 10 situations, it's like, what stuff comes out in those moments?
Yeah, look, man, it's been happening like before we was even born or we was even around. And my thing is, I don't want it just to be like, okay, we protest, everything is calmed down, and then maybe the next month or two or year, someone else minority gets shot again, and it's rinse cycle repeat. And it's like, well, nothing has really changed. So, like, man, you like me, man. I hate when people try to use if Martin Luther King was alive. That is so BS to me because you don't know what he was thinking at the time. And at the time, man, let me give you a little history tip. Martin Luther King got tired of getting his butt kicked, man. He got tired. Like, can you imagine you getting your butt kicked and getting saying racial slurs to you on a daily basis? That'll break you mentally. He got tired of that. He got tired of that. If he didn't have the people who was around him who supported him, then he would have turned out a lot different. That's why I'm like, look, I'm more that person that's cool with peace, but at the same time, if you hit me, I gotta hit you back, bro.
So you got more of a Malcolm X mentality.
Yeah, like Malcolm X mentality and a little bit of Dr. King. You know, I'm not disrespecting like Martin Luther King or saying saying his legacy wasn't worth anything. It's just you have to understand that, hey man, like I gotta defend myself, man. Like I can't just get hit and take the hit and turn the other cheek, man. Screw that. Sorry, man.
No, it's a different philosophy, and that's the thing is it's not easy to do. I mean, and I think defending yourself is perfectly adequate. I mean, you're
Yeah.
getting what are you gonna do? You're getting attacked. So yeah, man, it's tough. It
Yeah,
really
man.
is.
And it's you got people out there who's really dismissive and don't want to talk about the issue. Like the issue's right there in front of your face. You can't even escape. You can't even escape it. Like it's in social media, people. So you're just gonna unfollow people or tell people how they should feel about it. Like basically saying like saying that, oh well, they're just doing their jobs or whatever. I'm like, dude, I'm just living my life day by day. Okay, so do I deserve to die just because I look not white, not Aryan? Like, come on, man.
No, I totally agree with you. It's one of those things that's just it's difficult, and I hope it gets better. And I think that the only way is to honestly talk about it,
Yeah,
and make people more aware, have the conversation, and say you're right, it is an issue. If you just ignore it, pretend it's not a problem, it's
yeah.
just gonna keep being a problem.
It's just gonna keep being a problem, and people are like getting their stuff burned down. Like I remember people saying like, why are people are looting, and then some people saying like, well, why the USA is bombing Middle Eastern countries, or then you could be like, hey, what if it would be different if black people was had their own business and their stuff got burned down. And I'm like, actually, that happened like a century ago. It's called Black Wall Street. You ever heard of Black Wall Street?
That was didn't that come up in that new Watchmen show?
What show again?
Was it I think they brought that up in Watchmen, didn't they? The HBO show?
Yeah. That was in Watchmen. That actually happened, where a group of black people got their own money, had their own businesses, and then a bunch of racist dudes just came down there and burned everything.
No, I never heard of that until
You
recently.
never heard of Black Wall Street? Okay,
Nope.
basically, I'm just gonna repeat it again. It was a town called Greenwood, and it was in Oakland, California. This happened in 1920s, somewhere in the 1920s. It was a rich community. It was well established. It was like, wow, paradise. This is black people got their own business, their own barbershops. Everything was good. They didn't need other people's money.
Hmm.
Some Ku Klux Klan came like maybe 1,000 deep, came in that small town and burned everything up, burned it to the ground. Why? Oh well, we can't let these minorities have like all this money. And then they started killing and just burn everything to the ground. Those people at that town had no chance to defend themselves. It was a surprise attack, and the people who survived it didn't really talk about. Like there was one lady, one of the Gap Band members. I think it was a neighbor of his. He knew her for a long time. She was a little girl in that instance. She didn't speak about it until the end of her life, because it was that frightening, man. Could you imagine you live in a town where, oh wow, we got all these resources, man, everything's good, and some people came in and just burned it to the ground because they didn't like who you were. Look it up, man. It's on Wikipedia. Look it up, bro.
No, that's horrible. And the sad thing is that stuff like that did happen, and that's That's like a big deal that literally until like a couple months ago. See, and this is the sad thing. I'm gonna tell you something really sad.
Okay.
Okay. I think I think history is incredibly important. I love history. Like I'm a history buff. I read a lot about it as a kid. I just loved it for fun. I love history. I read so much stuff about US American history growing up, and in school and outside of school, all the texts I read, I
Mhm.
never heard that mentioned once.
Man, dude,
And that's, you know, I'm telling you, it's interesting what is left out of the history text, and I think it's very interesting, and that's something that as a discussion that I think education's a big part of making a difference.
yeah.
We don't, I never heard about that
Never heard of
ever.
that,
I
man. Like
never heard of it.
I didn't hear about this until like maybe 2 years ago when when my barber he was talking about Black Wall Street. And you know, he was like, yeah, man, it was a time where people were minorities, black people especially, had their own resources. They didn't really need white people's money. No offense, man. Where you know they was living it up, and then you know a bunch of racist dudes came to that town of Greenwood and just burned it all down.
I'll have to look it up actually.
Look it up, man. I look it up, man. Look
I
it up.
will.
It's a Wikipedia. It's a Wikipedia page, and it tells you everything about Black Wall Street, what happened to it, how it got burned down. It's a read, bro. It's a read, man.
Yeah, man.
I know you're looking it up right now.
I'm gonna look it up. So I'm telling you, the Tulsa Race Massacre or
Yeah,
Greenwood
see,
Massacre.
I told you.
Yep, I never heard of that. I oh, I wanted to ask you. I mean, I'll probably read it to find out, but
Okay.
I guess that was the Ku Klux Klan was still pretty big at that point. I think they were still like a recognized like political party or something.
Yeah.
So is that why? I mean, because like I know that obviously there were a lot of racial tensions and whatnot even back then that were worse in some ways. So if these people ran into this small town and
Mm-hmm.
burned everything to the ground,
Mm-hmm.
was there any like investigation about? Did anybody care? Any of the authorities? Anybody care?
From what I remember, I don't think they cared because hey, these black people, they got their own money, so why should we help them? But then you burn all their stuff around and murdered half the population. So it's kind of like, well, we done a good job, everybody. I guess it's over. It was a hate crime, man.
It just sounds like more than a hate crime. It
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah. It was a massacre / hate crime, and it was like there was nothing they could do. Some people said, "Well, why wasn't they prepared for it?" It was a surprise attack. So how could they?
yeah. Who would be prepared for that?
Yeah,
Who
who would
would
be
be?
prepared for that? So that kind of just
Oh,
angered me, bro. That happened 100 years ago. Like I remember one of the victims, I guess he was messing with a white woman, and she screamed rape while the massacre was happening, and he got lynched. So I'm sorry if this turned out like some like I know this podcast is supposed to be all fun, but man, like look it up, man. It's
dude.
not an easy read.
Look, no, I will say you probably, it definitely went to a more intense place than I originally had planned, but that's okay. I think it's a good thing. And I do like to talk about a lot of fun stuff, but a lot of the stuff that we talk about in our entertainment is often a reflection and a way of trying to kind of figure out what's actually going on with us.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not that far off. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they was taking a reference from the Watchmen.
yeah.
And a lot of fanboys was mad about that. I was like, that actually really happened. Like,
Well, yeah, no, that's fine. I think if I remember correctly, because I didn't actually watch the show. I didn't get. I think I turned off my HBO a little while ago. But I think the controversy was about they tied in Rorschach to that and made him like racist or something.
yeah.
Which, if I remember from the graphic novel, I have to read it because it's been a long time. I don't think he was particularly racist. He just didn't have much faith in anybody.
Yeah, he just was like, screw it, we're all screwed.
Yeah, pretty much. How did you like him as a character, actually?
You know
originally.
what? I never got a chance to watch it because I had to cut off my cable
Oh
at
well,
that time when it was premiering.
did you watch the movie or read the original graphic novel?
Oh, I remember the movie, and I felt like Ray Shack was a character was kind of like, well, this world is gonna like burn in flames before I'm even dead. So you know what? Let's have a good. Let me just be in this party for a minute, and if things change, all right, cool. If not, I was right the whole time. I was right. So
It's dark. All right,
yeah.
man. Well, okay. I'm gonna pivot us because this
Okay.
has been this has been intense. So I'm
Ooh.
gonna mix it up a little. Okay. The what I did before with Walking Double O Dead actually,
Hmm.
and what I did with the Enemy Hero was I put them on the spot. Did you
Okay.
watch any of those by any chance?
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but go ahead, man.
Okay.
Surprise me.
Okay. I hope you can do this. I'm gonna give you some questions.
Okay.
I'm very interested to see the answers. Could you give me a top 10 if possible, but if not a top 10, some of your favorite movies?
Wow. Favorite movies, top 10. Okay. I know what my top three are, but
Okay.
top 10, I'll put my top 10 just in case.
Okay.
Um, and the order may change up, so I
Sure.
explain it. My number 10 would be Black Panther.
Okay.
From a cultural and a cool experience from a movie like that, where this was like the first superhero movie where my mom was really into,
Hmm.
and it surprised me because I'm like, wow, I didn't even know you like superhero movies like that because it had really African culture into the film. My mom is very Afrocentric, so that really appealed to her, and it made her want to see the other Marvel movies.
Ah.
That was kind of unique and cool in itself. Like I remember people was like talking trash to Black Panther because it was overhyped. Yeah, it was overhyped. But was the movie good?
It was
Yeah, it
good
was
though.
good.
It was
The
really good.
CGI had some problems. Okay, yeah, that's cool. But then you can't get mad if a certain group of people felt some type of way about a movie. Like, come on now, like it was just weird. But yeah, that was a wonderful experience of me, spending quality time with my mom at the movie theaters. So
Gotcha.
that's my number 10.
Good start.
Number 9 is a movie called Scott Pilgrim versus the World, man. I don't know. Something about that movie kind of was like, you know what? We're just gonna say screw it and add anime and video games together, man. Like, and also it was a love story. Like,
Mhm.
like could you imagine if you this was what came out in 2010 and you're like, what the heck is Scott Pilgrim? And it's a movie. It's a movie about a guy who wants to get with a girl who has like these 7 evil exorcists. And I feel like the movie was like a self discovery of what Scott really wanted and how he should become a better person, because it was kind of like, wow, Scott is such a dirtbag to knives, man. It was like, dude, why are you wasting this girl's time, man? You can do other stuff, man. And also, I like the visual effects of the movie, man. It was one of those movies that's like, this deserved a number of sequels, man. This should have had a part 1 and 2 and 3, but
Didn't do well when it first came
it
out,
didn't
no.
do well. But man, I don't it. It was one of those movies I was like, dang, this should have done better, but
It's a good movie.
it didn't. But whatever. Let me see. We're going to number 8.
Yep.
A movie is called A Line Between Love and Hate.
Never seen that one.
It's a movie with Martin Lawrence, and hold on, let me let me look up the movie Love Between Love and Hate.
Okay. Line between love and
It,
hate.
it, it was a movie between a line between like wait, I'm sorry, man.
No,
Sorry
it's
about
fine.
like a love between
The
love.
love between the line of love and hate.
I
Love.
want to get the title right.
Okay.
So it's called A Thin Line Between Love and Hate,
Okay.
and it starred Martin Lawrence and Lynn Whitfield.
Okay.
So the movie portrays Martin Lawrence as this player type this player type of guy, as he's a womanizer. He's doing whatever he wants, man. Basically he just want to get his mushroom tip hard.
Sure.
And he meets this woman, played by Lynn Whitfield, who she's saying to Martin, like, hey, you don't want to deal with me. I've been crushed before. You don't want to mess with me. And he keeps pursuing this lady until, he ends up in a relationship. He sleeps with her. But at the same time, he is two-timing her and cheating her at the same time. She warned him, don't do that to me. And she goes on the race. She slashed his tires. She bleached his clothes, set his stuff on fire. And it's a movie. Why I really like why this movie is like one of my favorite movies. It shows you that whatever you do, don't try to be misogynist towards women or to anybody else who is like broken and damaged. It's basically a movie telling you like, hey, don't be a player and manipulate people's feelings or it will come back and get you. It was one of those movies where you kind of sided with Lynn Whitfield's character because she's been damaged at the same time. But she should have been grown enough to be like, hey, I should walk away from this because she was a damaged person. So,
interesting. Never heard of that one. I'll check it out.
Yeah. It's a romance comedy film, but it goes a lot deeper because it's like, holy crap, bro. This could happen to people who is just like, hey, man, I'm just with this girl and I'm just cheating around. I said I loved her, but I really didn't. I was just sleeping around. So, yeah, it was one of those movies I look back and was like, wow, this was really interesting.
When did that one come out?
It came out in 96, man. So I remember watching the movie as a kid and I didn't get it. I was like, why is she hurting Martin? But then as I got older, I was like, man, Martin was a scumbag, bro. He kind of deserved what he got, bro.
Wow. Right. Cool.
Let me see the next movie. We're in number 7 right now?
Yep, 7.
7. Okay, the next movie for me is is a movie called Menace to Society.
Ah, yes.
I really like the film because the film it's not an easy watch. It is not an easy watch because it shows you what happens when you put people in certain environments and it still happens towards today. Like I remember a certain scene where Kane and his friend got assaulted by the police. They got beaten up by the police. And what they did towards them, they put them in the Mexican side of town. Could you imagine that? You get assaulted by the police and then you get transported to another area you don't even know, you're unfamiliar with.
That's terrible.
And it had Bill Duke in that movie. It had one of his famous lines. He's like, you know they messed up. You know they messed up. I'm not trying to say it because
family friendly.
Family friendly. He's saying, you know, you messed up, right? That is Bill Duke's not his first roles, but like one of his most popular roles like ever. And also the film, again, it's not an easy watch. I think a lot of people was introduced to Jaden Pickens Smith before she was married to Will Smith. She was into that film. She was in the film. And yeah, it just had like a dark tone to it that I don't really watch it as much, but hey.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Some of my favorite movies I think they're really good films that I appreciate, but they might be dark or difficult to watch, so I don't watch them like all the time. So I get that.
I don't watch it all the time. I just watch it like, dang, that's messed up. And we're gonna move on to number 6, man. Number 6 is Back to the Future 2.
2?
Yes.
Okay, now you got to explain that.
Like Back to the Future 2, man. That movie, as I know, time travel can be very hard to do, but it was Back to the Future, the trilogy itself, it did the time travel right, especially how they're because they could have easily screwed it up with all the plot holes. I kind of feel like that movie itself could be its own mini series because of like how Marty went to the future, right?
Yeah.
And picked up that amulet. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. That book with all the bets.
Oh, the almanac.
Yeah, the almanac book. And then Biff Tanner gets a hold of it. Well, future Biff gets a hold of it. and he gives it to his younger self. His younger self. It's like, oh well, he just alternated a timeline, which is like history is not supposed to happen. But Biff had that book where he became a millionaire, and also the movie itself was like, I really like how the CGI of the movie is, especially how Marty is trying to dodge his future self. It's like, I mean, his past self. I'm sorry, his
Yep.
past self, so he won't mess up the timeline or like burn himself out. And I thought that was kind of interesting itself, seeing like, what would you do if you saw like your future self, and especially the time itself. Like, wow, they showed what 2015 would look like in 1989, and now we already passed what 2015. It's nothing like that.
No.
So I don't know. Back to the Future 2 gives me like I don't know, a different experience than 1 and 3.
Okay.
Especially the future itself. Like, whoa, the future, man. What would that be like, man? That is awesome, man. Especially like, Doc Brown made him a time machine. I don't know, man. I think one thing I was kind of asking myself, like, okay, there has to be alternate timelines with the whole Biff, change in the future. Like, I was asking myself, like, does Doc Brown kids exist in this timeline or no? Because I know in the third movie he met that lady, and they made like a time machine. So I guess they're just traveling through time and space itself. But one thing that always drives me nuts in that movie.
Okay.
It's like, why did Biff Tanner had to kill Marty's dad and marry his mom? Because at that point, I was like, you're a billionaire, dude. Why would you need Marty's mom?
Well, I guess that's just because that was kind of like, one of the contention points that it always started over was like he hated him. So I guess he wanted everything he wanted. Pretty much, he just always hated McFly,
Yeah, I was kind of like, dude, you're kind of good. I think you're gonna screw yourself over because she could easily divorce you and get half of your crap.
Like, you'd think so. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think that Biff is an interesting character because
he is.
like with each situation, his level of evil goes up.
Yeah.
Like you think he's a jerk, but like he could potentially be really bad. Mm-hmm. And then the right situation, he's not quite as bad.
Yeah.
But he's never really good.
Never really good. So it's like, hey, whatever, man. So were we entering number 5?
I believe so.
Oh, wow. Number 5, man. Okay, so number 5 to me is a tie. It's another superhero movie, but hey, screw it. I don't care. It's on my list. I'm not like some movie critic or, say, oh man, why'd you pick that? This is gonna go. I'm gonna put these movies together. It's Infinity War and Endgame.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I'm gonna put them as one movie together because why not? It just Thanos itself. Wow, you made a CGI character sound compelling and real and threatening at the same time. And like for Infinity War, people thought, oh man, they're gonna beat Thanos and get the glove and everything will be okay. And it's like, no, it's not everything's okay. Loki died. Who else died? Vision's dead. So it was like, oh, and Heimdall died too. Yeah. So it was like, whoa, this is pretty deep, man. And then when Thanos snapped his fingers, that was it. And then part 2 came around and people thought, all right, man, they about to get their revenge. But then they did it so early in the movie. I'm like, okay, how they gonna, get through around this? And then 5 years pass, and then we see how this all affected everyone. This affected everyone, especially Thor, who just gained a lot of weight. And I don't know, man. I like Fat Thor. He was kind of cool, man. I like the Hulk as Bruce Banner, because it was kind of like people were so mad about that because he didn't get his round 2 against Thanos. But at the same time, I was looking at it like, well, he was kind of useless in the Infinity War, man. So I was like, look, you just gonna have to pick and choose. And that whole the whole superheroes together saying Avengers assemble. I'm like, oh God, oh my God, that was just like a nerd moment, man. But wow, that was amazing, man.
It was pretty fantastic.
It was pretty fantastic, man. So yeah. Woo. Okay,
That's
number
it's something.
yeah, it was something, man. It was we can go to number four. Number four, Jesus Christ, number four. What was it's not a superhero movie. It's crap. Sorry, man. I'm just like just thinking what would be my number four movie, man.
That's fine. I put you on the spot. I know you got to make the list.
You really put me on the spot, and I know like my movie taste will change along the way.
Sure.
God, what's a fourth movie I'm thinking of? A fourth movie I'm thinking of is Toy Story. I don't know why.
First one?
Yeah, the first one. No, not first one. Two. I'm sorry. Two is my favorite. Two is my favorite because two, when I was I don't know if I saw this movie in theaters or got it in VHS, but I remember looking at Toy Story 2, feeling really sad for not only Jesse but for Woody, because for Woody, it's actually the movie's letting you say, should Woody go to this this museum where he's loved by children every day, because Andy's gonna grow up one day and he's not gonna play with toys forever. And then you have Jessie being claustrophobic, saying that she can't get in small spaces anymore. And that whole scene, when somebody loves me, man, dude, that is depressing, man. That was like, some people's like, man, some people said they went through relationships like that where they was attached with a person and they kind of just drifted off and did their own thing. I really like that. And also they balanced comedy really well. Mm-hmm. Like I remember one of the scenes where Buzz was fighting, fake Buzz was fighting General Zod.
Zurg.
I don't know why that scene is always funny to me. He was like, "No, Buzz, I'll be your father."
Oh yeah, the Star Wars thing.
and then like the next scene over, you see Zurg and Buzz playing catch with each other. He said, "I'm spending time with my dad." It's like, "Oh man, that's my boy, man. Go for a long way." He said, "Wow, Dad, you're awesome." I don't know why that made me cheese, man, but that was awesome. And also the visual aspects of it, where the beginning of the film is like, holy crap, is this Toy Story? Because you see Buzz Lightyear coming down from like, I don't know, like a spaceship through in space, man, and he's doing this and he has his wings on. I was like, dude, this is awesome, man. I mean, could you imagine like an 8-year-old just looking at this like, this is Toy Story, man? Like, you sure, man? Man, that was awesome, man. And then you just find out it was like a video game, but man, that was cool. I'm nice. Sorry, I'm just getting all geeked up, but
no, it's good, man.
That was like, if you don't notice, I'm just going like a trivia right quick. That movie was almost not made.
I know. I heard about it with the computer. They almost died.
Yeah, computer almost died, and the files was erased, and then someone had a copy of it.
And they had to like put everything in like bubble wrap and slowly transport it to the office.
Yeah,
that whole movie was almost lost.
Yes, that movie was almost lost, but it was worth it, man. It was worth it, man, because I don't know, man. When people be saying like, man, I don't know if I want to see another Toy Story, people will just line up. Just it's more adults watching it than kids, because we're I keep saying this to like people like who's like my age. I'm like, dude, we're gonna be goofy adults. It's bound to happen, man. We're not gonna be like, I know like my parents are really stern, especially my mom. Like she's asking like, why are you watching cartoons? I'm like, why not? This is cool right here. So that was awesome, man. Where we are, number 4?
I think that was number 4, wasn't it?
No, I thought. Oh yeah. Wait. Yeah, I think that was number 4.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So number 3, it's gonna be another CGI film.
Okay.
It's Into the Spider-Verse, bro.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, man, that movie surprised me because I thought, okay, this is gonna be one of those movies where um, we got Miles and then we got Peter Parker. Okay, that's cool, I guess. But then the movie itself, man, how the way it's stylized is really awesome. I really like the visuals in the movie. I like how in this film we do get that Peter Parker they put in the commercials, like he's all perfect, and then during like 2 minutes of the movie or five, he's dead. I mean, he's dead. I'm like, oh shit, what was all that talk about with him and Peter Parker bonding, and they do get another Peter Parker, but this is a Peter Parker who's just like, he's been Spider-Man for way too long. He's like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. I'm divorced. I mean, like, I lost Mary Jane. I don't care anymore, man. Yeah, and I thought that Spider-Man was really interesting because it was like, wow, man, you got a Spider-Man who's like not a teenager, but a grown man who's just going through the emotions, man.
Yep.
And it is like, wow. And then we get Miles, who's like a new Spider-Man, and he's not used to these spider powers, and he's really having like, you know, self-confidence of himself. Like, hey, man, I don't know if I'm Spider-Man. I'm not Peter Parker. And that's really interesting. We don't see enough minority characters in the big screen, especially with CGI, because a lot of people are like having problems with and I agree with them with minority characters, especially brown characters, who is not shown on the screen of just being themselves. They have to be like an animal. They have to be like some type of like uh some type of animal creature. They've been doing this with like that spy film from with Will Smith where he was a pigeon that whole time, or The Princess of the Frog where Tiana was a frog like nearly half of the movie. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Come on, man. Like, at least like in Spider-Man, in Spider-Verse, it was a balance. It wasn't like, oh wow, Miles has his spider gear the whole time. He had it off majority of the time. He didn't really get into his spider gear until like near the end.
Got you right. You're some movies, they're kind of hiding the race a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, dude, like, come on, you could do what's Into the Spider-Verse. Like, hey, that was a good movie. I know a lot of people like didn't want to check out the movie because of the animation. And
The animation was really cool though.
yeah, the animation was really cool. And also like at the time, like, Spider-Man 2018 was getting a huge buzz because that Spider-Man game came out, and Infinity War with Spider-Man, and then you had Into the Spider-Verse. That was really cool. And then you had like different Spider-Man. You had Gwen Stacy, you had Penny Parker, Peter Porker, and then you had Nicolas Cage as Noir Spider-Man. I want to know more about him. That was awesome too. So that was awesome. So that was a fun movie I saw that was like, that took me by surprise. I'm like, holy crap, that was awesome. All right, so we're getting down to number 2.
That's right.
Okay. I made it's gonna be a switch around with these two. So my number 2 film is Casino.
Ooh, Martin Scorsese.
Yes, Martin Scorsese. I don't know, man. Something about Martin Scorsese and his gangster films. I will put everything down and watch it. I don't know if it's the characters being assholes towards each other or the situations they're put in. It's just, I don't know. It's just interesting as hell. Like, very interesting. It's just like I don't know, man. Like, every time I look up Casino 2, I mean Casino.
Casino 2.
Sorry. I mean, every time I look up Casino, man, that movie is like Goodfellas 2 to me. All they needed was Ray Liotta, and that would have been Goodfellas 2, man.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. Like, I like Joe Pesci's performance as Nicky Santoro. I was like, man, this is nothing but fucking Tommy.
Nothing out here without me.
Yeah, you're nothing without me. Not your fucking cars. I know I'm saying it wrong, but man, he was just going off by Robert De Niro, man. It was just like, wow, this was awesome, man. Like, if you got a movie with them two in it, man, I'm just watching it. Cause
did you check out the newest one they did?
Yeah, I checked out The Irishman. I feel like The Irishman was a little too slow for my taste,
Mm-hmm.
especially what they were going for. I feel like that could have been like a little like 5 episode miniseries.
Mm.
And that's just my opinion. But
Okay.
Casino was one of those films that I was just really interested on Lefty about how he managed the casino, what he was doing during his lifetime, how his wife was just crazy as hell. Like Jesus Christ, bro. I was like, dude, mate, like I don't know if that was filmed today, or if that ever happened today, Lefty wouldn't even marry her. She would just be his baby mama.
Probably.
Because it's kind of like, well, if I'm gonna drink and cheat around and you're messing with my money, I gotta get rid of you.
Yeah, but for a mafia type movie, it's kind of surprising she got away with a lot of stuff she did.
Yeah, I think maybe because they had children together, so it was like, dang, I can't
Mm.
get rid of her. That my kid loves her. Like the way he would have had to do was like she would have got half his money, and that would have been it.
Well, I'm glad you're talking about Casino because I'm gonna let you talk about your number one film, and then I got some other questions for you. But
Okay,
I'm wondering because can I wager a guess?
go ahead.
Because you said, oh man, I might switch these around.
Yeah,
So is it possible your favorite's Goodfellas?
yeah. Yeah, Goodfellas. I
Ah!
I don't know why Goodfellas is like my favorite Scorsese film or one of my favorite films ever. Because it's one of those films, man, that's like it shows you the high life, it shows you the life of like a gangster, and they glorify it. And then during like the middle or down the road, it's not so great. It is horrible. It's like,
Yeah.
why am I hanging with these assholes? I was so fascinated with the movie. I had to look up like Henry Hill and all that other stuff, and I realized that Henry Hill, played by Ray Liotta, he does an amazing job. The whole cast does an amazing job. I learned that Henry Hill, he liked school, like unlike the movie Counterpart where they portrayed him as like, hey, he doesn't really like school. He's like, no, I like school, but he was like dyslexic. He couldn't really pay attention. If he got the help he got, then he wouldn't end up as like being a guy, being in the mafia. I love like the performance of Joe Pesci as Tommy, man, just fucking wild, not giving a shit, bro. Man, he like that's the fucking drink. So I don't know, man. It's every
Funny
time.
how? Funny
Yeah,
how?
yeah. Tell me
My
how.
hero amuse you?
Yeah, yeah. Musical. Do I look like a fucking clown? So, like, it's like, wow, man. It's just like, wow. And then like, hey, man, like Samuel Jackson was in that movie too, bro.
Yep, for like a
Yeah,
second.
he got shot in the back of the head. It was a really short role, but man, he just, woo, man. Heck, man, like there's like certain scenes where I just have to like do a double take. There's one scene. I'm gonna clean this up. There's one scene where they're in jail, right? Karen is visiting Henry in jail,
Mhm.
and there's someone giving an inmate some head, and it's like I had to rewind it a couple times. Like, what the heck? Is that lady giving her this inmate head? Or I don't know, it could be transgender, but I was like, wow, that is really deep though. And it's like, man, dude, like you see Karen going through the emotions. She take care of 2 kids while her husband's in prison, and and Henry's messing around at the same time, not caring. And it's like Jesus Christ. And then it's getting so bad that Tommy got killed off, and Jimmy Conway, he was responsible for that. It was like he was gonna whack Henry sooner or later, man. It was just getting so tensed up. I was like, Jesus Christ. And I found that the cop they were going to, that was the real officer that Henry Hill wanted to go witness protection.
Oh,
They used the real guy who put Henry Hill in witness protection.
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's just one of my favorite films. Like the setup, the characters, the life, how it's handled. It's like that's they said Goodfellas is almost accurate to what Henry Hill was talking about.
Yeah, I've heard that was from his own like confessions. That was like very very accurate. Like from what I understand, as far as like a Hollywoodized movie goes, that's a. I think that's one reason why it was so popular is because until that movie came out, like at least in a popular, I guess, well done way, there never really was a portrayal of how mafia life really is. Like not just like not like the romanticized version, but the down and dirty. It's tough and
Yeah,
questionable. So yeah, I mean it's a great explanation of the style, man. That's awesome. I love Scorsese's movies. I love
yeah.
Goodfellas. It's
Yeah.
great.
Also, I'm gonna put this as a mention. It's another Scorsese film. I'm not a fanboy, but I really like Wolf of Wall Street, man.
Oh, okay.
Wall Street was just it was just one of those films that me and my teacher we were just talking about back and forth. I think the scene I was just cracking up when Leonardo DiCaprio character was sniffing cocaine off a hooker's ass. And I'm like, dude, you must be making money like that if she lets you do that. Come on now.
Yeah.
Like at that point, man, I don't know if I was in Jordan's shoes, bro, I just wouldn't get married. It's just like don't, don't, don't. If you with me, I would say, look, this a paper. I have to give my significant other a contract. So it's like, look, you can look if you want to date somebody like Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm not even gonna get mad. We just gonna have a mutual understanding that I'm gonna fuck around, you wanna fuck around. We get checked out if you're uncomfortable about it. All right, I'll just send you some money and carry on your merry way. If you got kids together, then it's gonna be different. It's just look if you got money like that and you can do whatever, it's like, dude.
Wow. Well, all right, man. I'm gonna turn on the light because it's getting dark.
Okay. Yeah, it's getting dark, bro. It's cool. It's getting dark where I'm at too. It's I have like this light set up right here. As you can see, it's shining on my face. I have another one.
I used to have a bulb right here in this lamp, but I got to replace it. It went out. So
Can't you just get like another like a studio light? You can get them for cheap.
you know what? I actually do have a studio light that I could probably hook up.
You don't have to hook it up now.
But you are right. I do have one. I
Yeah.
used to have two.
Mhm.
Somebody broke the other one. Is yet to compensate it. So I could just get another bulb. But yeah, man, I actually do have it. So yeah, thank you for reminding me. I should just like totally replace it.
Oh man.
All right, man. Well, how did you feel about that top 10? You did pretty well, I think.
Yeah. You just put me on the spot, bro. I'm like, oh man, I ain't got no list or what my favorite movies are, because I know some people is like probably dismissive of like, why you put superhero movies on here? Like, why not? Like, it's something I like. I'm not like a huge movie critic or anything like that. I do watch movie reviews and whatnot. I do listen to people's opinions about film and whatnot. Heck, bro, I could have. If you said top 100 or top 20, I could have kept going. I could have said like, I really like the Ninja Turtles first film, man. That was a classic itself, and that's an independent film.
Yep.
Heck, I could have said, oh yeah, I like the movie. Crap, what's that movie called, man? It's a movie called Surf Nazis Must Die.
What is that?
It's an exploitative film of this
Gotta type that up.
yeah, it's an exploitative film of these surf Nazis taking over like the California oceans, and they killed this black lady's son, and now she's going on revenge, just killing like these Nazi surfers.
That sounds awesome. That sounds just like my type of movie.
Yeah, it's a B movie. It's bad.
I
It's
love them.
It's something what Brad Jones would film, because there's one scene that doesn't make any type of sense. So there's this scene with this guy talking to these girls in bikinis, right? And during the scene, the black comes in and puts the guy through the wall, right? Because they killed her son. She's trying to get information.
Yeah.
Right when she puts him through the wall, the movie cuts in a way. I'm sorry, it transitions into a surfing montage, and it's like, where the hell did that come from? Like, you could have just had the scene of her saying, "Hey, you Nazi racist son of a bitch, where's your base? Where's your leave?" That you could have just had that. And I'm not even I'm not even like a filmmaker. It's just like that transition was very weird, and it has this sound like. It's a very annoying sound. You can find the clip on YouTube, and it's weird. It's a weird transition.
Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because that sounds like a future
Oh,
drinking.
you can find the whole film on YouTube, bro.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna test this theory and see if it's actually on here.
Which scene you're looking for?
Oh, you said the whole movie, right?
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, it's in 4K.
It's for
They put it. It says 4K on YouTube.
Surf Nazis must die. Oh, yeah. Oh, yep. You're right.
Told you, man.
Well, 1987 sounds like a good drinking night.
Yeah,
Sort of thing.
I don't know. Maybe I'm weird about this, but I feel fascinated about exploitative films in the 80s because it seems like it looks more grittier. And I asked myself, okay, what was y'all on when y'all was making this?
No, I agree with you. I think like the kind of the exploitation B like horror and action movies from the 70s and 80s, there's something about the way they were filmed, like the grittiness of the film itself and
Yeah.
the choppy editing, the all the practical effects and gore and the weird concepts. Like, yeah, there's nothing like it, man. That stuff is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting because like whenever I look up something like in the 90s, it has to be something gritty, but if it looks too clean, I'd be like, this is too mainstream. Like there was a 90s film called Original Gangsters. It had goddamn, what's her name? She was in Pam Grier. She was in that movie.
Pamela Greer
Yeah,
is.
Pamela Grier was in Original Gangsters, but the movie looked too clean. It looked like, wow, this looked like something Hollywood would make. And
Mm,
also, did you ever watch this show called The Jamie Foxx Show?
no, actually.
Okay, well, there was an actor. I don't. Okay, have you ever looked up certain actors and you can't picture them doing other roles? They just
Mhm.
look weird. So, like, one of the actors from the Jamie Foxx show, he played like Tom from the Boondocks. He was really proper. He was a
Oh,
black
that
guy
guy.
that run. Yeah, he was a black guy that run the hotel. But in this movie, he played a gangster, and I couldn't believe him because he played his other role too good. I was like, dude, you are not a gangster. I could understand if they were gangsters where they wear suits and everything and they were really proper, but no, they was hood gangsters, and I was just like, nah, man, this ain't working.
So are you saying he was typecast for you?
Yeah, he was typecast. If they played the gangsters like, okay, they wear suits or something like that, it would be more believable. But he had his hat on backwards and everything. He's like, hey, yo, what's up, G? It was like, no, man, just be proper, man. It would have made the movie better.
Wow. That's
It's kind of like seeing like, I don't know, like Robert Downey Jr. in a role, but then it's no, that wouldn't make sense. I'm sorry. It's like seeing the Avengers, I don't know, being Nazis or something.
just would be off. Like,
Yeah, just be off. Like, no, you're Tony Stark. Unless this is like an alternate universe where the Avengers are Nazis. Okay, that's cool.
then it would be acceptable.
Yeah, that's acceptable. They're fighting the Nazi the double gangers. All
Evil
right.
universe or
Yeah,
something.
evil universes. You could do that. You could sell money on that. People be like, yeah, whoop their asses, man.
They would that
Captain America. Right.
people probably would do that. Oh, the people didn't like Captain America being a Nazi.
Right. Exactly, man. Yeah, hell Hydra. But it worked.
Hey, it got people talking. That's true,
Yeah, it
man.
got people talking. It worked.
All right,
Okay.
man.
Any other questions? Go ahead, bro.
Yeah,
Ask
dude.
away.
I got two if you feel like it.
Go ahead.
All right. We're gonna start lean into a direction I know you're passionate about as well, and then we'll end on something a little old school.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna give you another top 10. Give me your top 10 favorite video
Okay.
games.
Oh my God. Video. Holy crap. Okay. Okay, let's start with one I'm playing with right now.
Okay.
Um Dragon Quest 8.
8.
Return of the Journey of the King. Dragon Quest 8 was my first Dragon Quest game ever. And it had the if you don't know much about Dragon Quest, that Toriyama did the designs for it.
That's all I know
And
about it, really.
and what was really appealing to that game for me, that is there was a move called Psych Up, where you can build up your attack meter. Like, one of the main characters looked like like Goku, Gohan. And like if you get your psyched up like to 100, he could become a Super Saiyan, but his hair is purple, and he could do like major damage. And I thought that was awesome. And it was just really a simple story about you trying to reclaim this kingdom that was cursed by a jester. But spoilers, by the way, it wasn't the jester that was doing all the work. It was the wand. It was the wand itself. So whoever held the wand was being controlled by this evil force.
Huh, like the ring, kind of.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool though, and that was like my first Dragon Quest game that had voiceover. Everybody talked in a British accent, but it was really cool. It made the game more lively. Because like that was the first Dragon Quest game that had voiceover.
When did that come out?
That came out 2004, but they had the 3DS version that came out like 2017, 2016.
Okay, gotcha. So have you played all the Dragon Quest games? Or
I played 8. 8 was my favorite. I played 5 and I hated 5.
Okay.
And that had a Netflix special.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it was called Dragon Quest. It's on Netflix. It's called Dragon Quest something.
Huh.
The reason why I didn't like it, I know you said what's my top 10, but the reason why I didn't like it, I felt that the remake itself felt like a remastered, and I didn't really know the characters like that. Like Dragon Quest 8, you get dialogue. You get dialogue and cutscenes from characters. So you're like, okay, I'm invested on who you guys are.
Okay.
This game is really old school RPG. So you have to talk to your characters back and forth, and they say some interesting things and sometimes not. And I think what I didn't really like about the game was like how you deal with marriage. Because in Dragon Quest V, you can marry your best friend Bianca, Nera, or her sister, and if you marry one of these women, your children will have like different effects in the party. Like if you marry Bianca, your childhood friend, your team will be really balanced. If you marry Nera, your team will have like great magic, but their physical and their defenses are weak. Or if you marry her sister, who is a jerk, she has like great physical damage, but she has no magic. And I feel like when you meet your children after like an 8-year hiatus, what happened? You get stoned. After an 8-year hiatus, your wife is kidnapped. You don't see your wife until like the third part of the game. So there's really no development of you getting to know your wife like that. It's like, why should I care? I don't know my wife like that. She's just there to have my children. And the children is supposed to be like a prophecy of saving the world, but you don't get dialogue of the children saying like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I'm like, I'm still a kid. Like, you know how like Gohan wasn't ready to be a fighter?
Yeah.
We didn't really have like moments like that. But Dragon Quest V was not my favorite. Too old school. It wasn't my favorite. But let's move on to the next game. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Number 9, Def Jam Fight for New York.
Oh, Def Jam.
Holy crap, bro. Like, I wish this was a remaster today because you have a bunch of rappers just beating the crap out of each other with wrestling and street moves. That is awesome. So it's you basically got Snoop Dogg and another guy named D-Ball on like who's like the best from the turfs, and you got to beat the hell out of each other. You got Fat Joe, T.I., Snoop Dogg, Fat Joe, just rappers just beating the crap out of each other. And it was awesome. And they all had like special moves. Redman and Method Man doing tag team.
Really?
It was just awesome, bro.
You know, I knew the general concept of Def Jam, but I didn't know they actually had real rappers in their wrestling.
Yeah, man. It was that cool, bro.
That's awesome.
I was like, this is awesome, bro. Like, could you imagine if you're like a hip hop head, or if you listen to hip hop, you're like, man, I'm using Snoop Dogg to beat up Exhibit, bro. This is awesome, bro. This is awesome. Like, come on, man. Like, it had a cool storyline. It was really cool for its time, and I wish that Def Jam Icons did something similar, but to amp it up, but they never did. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man, this could have been wonderful, but y'all screwed it up. Could you imagine if this game came out today?
I think it'd be awesome,
Like
actually.
you're laughing at it, but it was
No,
really cool
no,
and awesome.
no. It would be. I'm laughing because it sounds awesome. Like
Yeah,
I
bro.
didn't know that. You're telling me something new. That's awesome.
Yeah, this was on like the PlayStation 2, bro. This was
I
like,
missed that one.
yeah, man, this was something that was really, really just like, wow, I could use Method Man and Red Man just beating the heck out of each other. Okay, I get Snoop Dogg, and he can use his special moves. And you know what? They missed the opportunity to use like weed for like a special move for Snoop Dogg,
Of
man.
course.
They really missed that opportunity because yeah, he was like a pimp. He said, and they had like cool catchphrases. Like I remember Snoop Dogg catchphrases like after he beat you down, he said, "You can't be a pimp if you getting beat like a hoe." So it was cool, man. It was very cool, man. Like,
Nice.
sorry.
A lot of love.
All right, let's go to number 7.
All right, number 8.
Number 8. Okay. Number 8, Spider-Man from PS4, man.
Oh, that new one. Oh, that game was
Yeah,
great, man.
man, that was awesome, bro. That made me feel like I was Spider-Man, man. Like the like especially with the web swinging, man. Even though I don't live in New York, I was like, man, so how can I get from Brooklyn to like all the way to Manhattan, man? Just swinging around, like finding the fastest route, fighting like half of the Senator Six. That was kind of cool, bro. Heck, I didn't know they was gonna introduce Miles in this story, so that's cool. He got his powers. That it was kind of really heartbreaking seeing that how Peter and Doc Ock had like this father-son relationship, and it just all fell apart because it
Yep.
was like I believe Doc Ock got his octopus got to his head, and he wanted to beat Harry Osborn for like stealing like his resources.
Norman, yeah.
Yeah, Norman. I'm sorry, not Harry. I'm sorry, but
You know, Norman didn't have the hair in that game.
yeah, Norman didn't have the hair in that game. I was like, Jesus Christ! But that was one of the games that was just like, this is cool. I can't wait for part 2.
Me neither, man. I really loved that game. And, I think the relationship between Peter Parker and Doc Ock was so well done. I think that's, in anything I've ever read or seen, I think that's the best version of Doc Ock I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
he was a really interesting character, man. It's just if things turned out a different way, I was like, man, I could see him working with Osborn if if they met on like mutual terms, but it didn't happen that way.
No, it did not.
So, number seven, Devil May Cry 5.
5. Okay.
Devil May Cry 5, man. Like I didn't really experience Devil May Cry series until I played 3 and then 4, but 5 just hit it out the park, bro. Like 5 itself, man, with the crazy combos is going, it's like Jesus Christ, they just up the ante of like, how can we up the ante? Hey, let's have Dante have a motorcycle which is turned to a chainsaw and you can ride it at the same time. Okay, you got my vote.
I'll
And
be good.
also like one of a fan favorite, Virgil, aka Dante's twin brother, comes back.
Hmm.
That was kind of cool. I like how Nero's I remember Nero was like he had like the Devil Bringer, his demon arm, and you could switch his arms. Like you could switch it into like a gun, you could switch it into like a chainsaw, you could switch it to a Mega Buster. That was really cool though. I really love the combat in that game. And also the voice performances. Johnny Young Bosch plays Nero. That was cool. It was one of those games that was really fun, and also playing with V was really different because V, all you just had to do was just tap buttons to play with V, and that was pretty much it.
Nice. Now,
uh,
I only played. I think I played the second one a little bit back in the day. With the fifth, did they finally get past the classic Resident Evil switching camera angles, or is that still there?
they still have it, but they made it a little better. It's not like okay, the camera switch around when you're doing a combo. The camera stays on you.
Okay.
So they kind of completely left that RE camera engine. So I was like, oh, okay, well, they're doing something different, and I like the way that they're doing things instead of like, oh, let's just keep it old school and let's just keep it traditional. So Devil May Cry 5 was one of the best. It's rival up to 3. So
Gotcha.
all right, is number 6?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Number 6, Doom.
Which one?
Oh man, I like the 2016 Doom, man.
2016 Doom is pretty great.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, man. One time I was at someone's party, bro, and they was playing Doom and they was playing Slayer in the background, man, and it just fits together. It's
Of
just I
course.
just like playing a game that's just like really simple, and it's just like here's a gun, just shoot everything. Fit. Cool. All right. I don't have to. The story was just like, all right, demons took over Mars. Here you are, survive. All right. Bah, 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 bah. Just
Yep.
going in and just I don't know, something about that just makes me smile, man. I'm just like, man, I'm just killing demons and just saying, screw it, let's do this. So
Now I'm
now,
with you there, man. 2016 was great.
yeah, 2016 is great, man. We're dealing with what, number 5?
Yep, 5.
Oh man, okay. Number 5 is a game that's not good in today's standards, but whenever I play it, I fall in love with it. It's a
Okay.
game called Sonic Adventure, man.
Sonic Adventure.
You never play Sonic Adventure,
Is
man?
is that the one for the Dreamcast?
Yes.
I think that's a good game. Do people think that's not a good game?
I understand why it's not a good game because for its time it was good, but now people was like, well, there's other better Sonic games. But what made me feel in love with Sonic Adventure was the fact that it was an open world game and it had voice acting in it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, this is really cool. And like the level design to me was just amazing, especially when you run away from a giant whale or high speed highway where you're running down a building, or you go to Twinkle Park and you're riding go-karts. That was amazing to me.
Yeah, I think that's
And
cool.
yeah, that was cool. And there was character development that was my first time learning about character development, where Tails, he was so dependent on Sonic, but then there was a time where he said, I can't depend on him forever. I got to do things on my own. And I thought that was really cool, especially like an 8-year-old looking at that, because it's kind of like, okay, I can't depend on people forever. I got to do things on my own every now and then. I think like one of the worst aspects of that game was Big the Cat, because you had to fish and
Oh yeah.
they didn't make the fishing mechanics good, so you really had to guess on, okay, how do I have to catch Froggy, even though you can swim in a pool and just grab the frog. Like I grabbed frogs before. You just pick them up and you put them down. Like it was like, why do I need a fishing line? So whatever. It was just dumb, but it was one of those games I look back and say Sonic Adventure had an amazing soundtrack. Like if you ever look up the Sonic Adventure soundtrack, play it and you be like, dang, this is really cool, because it had like rock elements, jazz, hip hop, had all of that. And this was like 1998, where they was just like, screw it, let's just make a good Sonic game. But Sonic Adventure is one of my favorite games
Nice.
of all time. So number 4 would be Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Nice.
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to actually play it yet. I'm going to.
Hey man, if you like Dragon Ball and you like Marvel vs. Capcom, that game is for you. It's one of those games that's like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, I forget the studio who did Dragon Ball Fighter Z, but man, they actually cared. Like it feels like the manga and anime combined, especially when they do the attacks. Like I was playing with Ultra Instinct Goku, and it's like, man, dog, I feel like I'm the shiznit when I'm playing, because like we all seen Ultra Instinct Goku can dodge and do all those moves. You can do it like the anime, man. It's like, man, I can do all this stuff like Ultra Instinct Goku.
Oh man.
Like Dragon Ball Fighter Z, man. Like I know some people don't like fighting games, but it's one of those fighting games that's well balanced. It doesn't have a good story. They tried to make a good story, but it just wasn't good. But man, the fighting mechanics of that game is woo!
It looks
awesome.
cool too. Looks
Yeah,
really
it looks really cool. It is amazing.
I gotta play it.
gotta play it, man. Especially if you're a Dragon Ball fan. Even if you're not like a fighting game fanatic, you still have to play because like the way they execute the moves, it looks groundbreaking, especially when Gohan does his father son Kamehameha, where the camera turns around and you see Gohan's hand glowing, and then you see Goku in the background, and then you see Gohan firing in it. And then you also, if you hold the R2 button, if you have enough energy, Goku comes in and then supports Gohan, and Gohan just fires that boy like how he did in the show, how you kill Cell. Sorry, man, I'm just fanboying like, whoo.
That's good, man.
Okay, number 3?
Yep, 3.
Okay, well, it's a game called Chrono Trigger.
You know what?
Mhm.
I never played it. I've been trying to actually go through some classic video games. That's
Mhm.
one I actually started it recently. I really like it so far. That's one definitely could feel some Toriyama influence there.
Yes, it's like Dragon Ball Z and Back to the Future made a baby and Chrono Trigger. Because what I like about Chrono Trigger is whatever choice you make will affect a timeline. And I really like that. This was like back in 1995, where that is unheard of certain decisions you make will change the future itself. Like I remember a time where I was playing Chrono Trigger and I got like a bad ending when I came back to a timeline where everybody was dinosaurs and we got nuked. I'm like, dude, that is insane because it all depends on what path you take. You can beat the boss in the next 5 minutes, or you take your sweet time and just like go through different timelines to be like, okay, if I kill this certain enemy, then something will happen in this timeline where future dinosaurs exist. That was really interesting for the time, and I really like that. Like, should I? Do you want me to spoil something real quick for you?
I don't really. I actually do intend on playing it, so don't spoil it too much if you can.
All I'm gonna say is that you will run into something where it's like this. You may, okay, how can I not? I don't want to spoil it. There will be a certain sequence where you have to make an ultimate sacrifice,
Okay.
but you can travel through time. I'm not going to tell you how you're going to do it or what's going to happen. You just have to travel through time in order. It's like something happened in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to spoil it for you.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. It's been good so far, actually.
Yeah, it's one of those RPGs that's like, wow, that was amazing, man. That is like my top 3. If we was talking about RPGs, that would be my top 1.
I've heard that Chrono Trigger is one of the highest rated.
Mm-hmm. All right. Number 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Okay, remake. Been playing that a little too. I think it's really good. So
Yeah, it's
obviously over the original.
yeah, it's one of those where I was kind of skeptical of playing it because I played the original so much, but what they add to it and how they how they built up the characters to make them more human, more lively. I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. I like how they deal with Cloud PTSD in the beginning of the game. You're at where you're at in Final Fantasy, because I don't want to spoil.
I just talked to Zora about this the other day. We just got to the city. We're in the market. Cloud just got his hand massaged.
Oh, okay, about Madam M. Okay, so
Yep.
there are certain sequence of Cloud with what's wrong with his head. I'm just saying PTSD because
Yeah.
that's what it looks like. I'm not trying to spoil it because I really want everybody to enjoy the game for themselves. And also the combat system, it feels like a combination between Kingdom Hearts and Mass Effect.
Yeah, I can definitely see the Kingdom Hearts base, and yeah, Mass Effect's system was pretty good too. So
Yeah,
I can see it.
yep.
It's a good combat system.
Yeah, so like when I played during the end of the game, I was like, wow, I need more of this. I need more because it was just that fun, man. Especially with the motorcycle.
Oh yeah,
That was cool, man. And fighting Rosh, that was amazing, man. I was like, this is freaking awesome. And not gonna spoil what happens during during the Madam M sequence, man.
Oh yeah, I know about that. That's where we left off.
Okay,
It
like
was pretty
Cloud got
great.
his hand massage, and it's like he's just dazed, like, oh my god, that felt so good.
Yeah, he got it was a metaphor. He didn't really
Yeah,
get a hand massage.
yeah, he got something else too. Um, um, yeah, I mean, if you played the original, you know what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah,
So
I know what happens ultimately. Yeah.
yeah. So like the way it ends up, it doesn't. I'm all I'm gonna say is for those who are new to playing it. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. I'm just gonna say that it doesn't end where you think it's gonna end. That's
I've
all.
heard that.
And number one, it's obvious. Well, not really obvious, but The Last of Us.
What?
Yeah, The
I'm
Last.
I'm surprised. I thought it was gonna be something else. I don't know.
No, The Last of Us was one of those games that was that good. I played. If I look, this is me. If I play a game more than like 3 times, you won me over. I love the characters. I love the setting. I love like the clickers and the infected. I like how Joel is a very great character. He's almost going to black right now because it's like for what he did, it was kind of like, wow, you kind of doomed the world itself. But hey, whatever. You lost your daughter that 20 years ago, so I guess you made the right decision. I like Ellie as a character. I don't know why so many people was like kind of confused on Ellie's sexuality. It was kind of like, did anybody not play the DLC? Because it was very clear that she was, gay.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, Last of Us is another one of those classics I gotta pick up at some point. I've
yes, man,
heard
you got him, man.
I've heard a lot of really good things about it, but it's one of those things where I felt like it just wasn't talked about for quite a while. And when I actually talked to Dead, he actually thought that it was a little overrated.
Nah, what made him? Wait, what made him thought? What made him say it was overrated?
I forget. I think it was I think he was well. I actually I don't want to like mince his words. I think that what he meant was, if I remember correctly, he said it was a very good game, but he
Hmm.
thought about like he was comparing it to his favorite game, which is Metal Gear.
Ah, okay.
And what he was saying is he thought that Metal Gear was like the best game of its era of its
Mhm.
console, whereas he didn't think Last of Us was like the best of its era. Is kind of what
I,
he said.
that's fine. Look, well, this is just my opinion. Like Metal Gear and Last of Us is from like different game eras.
Yeah.
So like Metal Gear was like probably one of the first games that had the cinematic cutscenes, and it felt like a movie. Where the Last of Us did feel like a movie or like a TV show, where the characters felt like they felt real. If
Hmm.
you felt for them, you felt remorse when Joel lost his daughter. That was a real heavy hitter. Or the time when him and his brother separated because uh Joel his brother Tommy felt like Joel went off the rails and went too far when they was like trying to survive. So
Wow.
it's one of those games that has a lot of world building, especially with the creatures itself, how humanity is handling the situation. Cause like humanity is fucked up, bro. It's not like The Walking Dead where it's like, man, it's no hope. There's still hope in The Last of Us where there are areas where they have electricity and water and all that other stuff. But if you go out there in the wilderness by yourself, you're kind of screwed. Yeah.
All right.
Hmm.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, all right. Do you have time for one more?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, I'm gonna bring it back. I know it's not really what your channel's about these days, but maybe I'll get some reminders. Maybe I'll get some new information. But for old time's sake,
Hmm.
what's your top 10 favorite anime series?
Oh shit, man. Sorry. I got I got like my five, but okay, let's start off with number 10.
Okay.
Okay, number 10 for me. Oh god, you put me in a spot, man.
I'm good at that, I guess.
10, like Jesus Christ, bro. I'm not trying to stall. Hold on, man. Hold on. Let me use the restroom real quick.
Restroom to think.
Yeah, I really do. Hold on.
All right. Well, while Vaughn is doing that, because these podcasts have been going on a long time, got to catch up with people. I'm gonna do what people do when they take a break, and I'm gonna keep the air from being too silent. So yeah, obviously, I'm gonna post links below, but check out Vaughn's channel. I mean, he's got a lot of interesting stuff going on with the music, with the unsung videos. It's pretty cool. And I think if he's doing anything else over there that's interesting, I'm actually gonna check out that Living Color one because I was remembering to think about like oh, if he hasn't talked about them, I'd be curious to see what he thought. And of course, he did a video a while. Now he's taking some time to think of his list because he's forgotten. I have a feeling I know what his top five are because I remember he posted something, I think on Facebook a little while ago about some of his favorites. So I kind of suspect that I know what some of them are going to be, but I'm wondering if there's some newer ones that have come up. Um, let's see. I feel like Hakusho is probably going to be in there. I'll mention JoJo, maybe Dragon Ball, Digimon, Pokemon. Sailor Moon came up once, but I don't know. Berserk. I feel like that. I'd be surprised if a bunch of those were mentioned, but there's a couple I don't know. I don't know. So let me know what you guys are thinking about these. I feel like I'm getting some positive reception, seeing some of the old Phantom Group, Green Clan people together, and also I'm hoping to get a couple other people here. Hopefully, if people feel like doing it, and also potentially doing some collab stuff over on the Phantom Group channel as well. Actually, Hero and Dead and I talked about RoboCop, so hopefully we'll get more over there. Anyway, Vaughn is back. He had time to think.
Yep.
All right.
So what anime came to mind to me is Digimon Tamers.
Tamers. Okay.
I know everybody remember Adventure, but I really like Tamers writing because like Tamers set in the real world. It was one of those I was like, oh, okay, they're going by the card game, and basically Digimon comes into the real world.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how like everybody keeps forgetting that Digimon had really better writing and Tamers had good writing too. You had like one of the most well-developed characters or one of the most interesting characters was like the girls in the Tamer universe, where Rika was basically just acting out because her mom was really not her mom was doing other things, and I guess her dad was either out of her life because it wasn't mentioned that he was dead. It was just like he was just not around in her life. And then Jerry, I feel like was who also had like probably the worst luck where she saw Leomon die. And then there was a scene, this was also in the English dub, where the scene where you see a dead body over a blanket.
Oh.
And then they said sorry, we couldn't do nothing for her. And then you see Jerry running through the hallway, and it's like a nightmare scene, and it's like, holy crap, that is really dark. This wasn't cut. This was it. They kept this in the English dub, and she, you just see her like going through the emotions where her mom passed away, and then she see with her Digimon being like killed off by Beelzemon. So I thought that was really cool development.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like Tamers had like not sort of a happy ending. It could have had like all the Digimon had to return back from their world from dying. I kind of wish Jerry. I like Jerry's character. I kind of wish her like Leomon should have came back as an egg or something, where it didn't have like the memories of like what happened. It's come back to life, but it's like, well, who are you? I don't know who you are, but you seem pretty cool. But Digimon Tamers was just one of those anime that I think people attention or thought like, oh well, it's not as great as Adventure. Tamers is really dark and weird, but
I mean, I'll admit I never finished all of Tamers, and I was definitely one of those people that was always like, I kind of like the first two seasons better. But I think that from what I've talked to, most people that say they're Digimon fans overall most people like are like you. They say Tamers is the best, but I feel like Digimon 1 and 2, just because it's got that nostalgia, it gets more
Yeah,
exposure. You know, it's still going on now.
it's like because that's who we were first introduced, and some people was kind of divided on Adventure 2 because they feel like that cast kind of just pushed the old cast aside,
Hmm.
and it was kind of like, well, we grew up with this original cast, and we saw the original Digimon cast getting older. At this point, now we see Ty in the game. We saw them as kids, teenagers, and now we're gonna see them. Now we see them as full adults now, and
Yeah.
that's just amazing because it's like, wow, they were kids when we were kids, and now they're adults. Because I think the new Digimon series or the movie is gonna be like their last adventure, and now they already made a Digimon Adventure remake.
Oh, of course they did.
So that's kind of cool. But yep, Digimon Tamers is number 10. So let's go to number 9.
Okay.
Um, Number 9 is a Gundam series, and it's G Gundam.
G Gundam. Okay, I'm surprised.
Gundam,
Gundam. Okay.
the black series of the black sheep of the series. I get why people don't like G Gundam, but
Okay.
G Gundam is basically wrestling, Dragon Ball Z, and giant robots all roll into one, beating the crap out of each other.
Sounds
And
fun.
it's like I know everybody was into Gundam Wing. I was not into Gundam Wing. I'm sorry, it just wasn't my cup of tea. Maybe if I rewatched it again, but everybody was into Gundam Wing. And when I checked out G Gundam, I'm like, dude, that had a Gundam that had a fire hand. Nobody did not care about that because like I know the Gundam series is about politics and the war mafia and all the other stuff. That's pretty much that is kind of hard to digest for a kid
True.
versus something where I can just watch something where I don't have to really think as hard. I could be like, oh, okay, that was pretty amazing. Where he did a stone cold stutter in a giant robot. It was like it was stupid, but it was cool. It was cool,
It's
man. Like,
fair.
come on, man. Like, how can you say, man, that's dumb? How you gonna tell me that a robot, a horse can pilot a Gundam? Why not, man? That seems awesome. Come
Horse.
on, man.
That
Come on.
sounds amazing.
That's just it. Just sound it. Just G Gundam is one of those series I could just watch with drinking some beer and having a pizza and just not and the world is my oyster. Like I'm sorry if I was dating somebody, I'd be like, honey, just be quiet and just watch the magic unfold.
Oh no.
Oh my god, then she'd probably just kick me out the house. But anyway, it's cool.
It's a bad.
It's like I tried. I
Hey,
really tried.
be cool if she liked it too, though.
Yeah, but it's all good. But my number is it 7,
8.
8. Number 8 is the original Dragon Ball.
DB.
Yes, DB. I don't know why I like the original DB. I guess it's just Toriyama just saying, screw it, whatever happens, happens. And it's just a series that doesn't get enough love. I know everybody loves Z. They love their GT sometimes. Super is very divisive. But nobody checks out Dragon Ball at all.
Well,
Where,
man, I still consider Dragon Ball as like one big thing,
yeah, but not many people really seen Dragon Ball. The
which is a shame because it's really great.
Yeah, it's really great, and it's like one of my favorite series where I'm not annoyed by Goku's character.
Because he's still a kid.
Yeah, he's still a kid, so I'm like, you're excused. You're a kid. You haven't really been out in the world as much, so his naviness is really charming. So, and also you got the Red Ribbon Army. You had the androids. Heck, man, people forget that Bulma is a main character too in Dragon Ball. Like, come on, man, she deserves the credit. Y'all people just riding on Vegeta and everything. And it's like, man, remember Goku, Yamcha, Krillin, Chaozu, Master Roshi? Those are like the main 5, 6 guys who knew martial arts like that. And it's just like they're just put in the backside. And I kind of hate that.
Yeah.
New Dragon Ball series don't give like the people, certain respect. But you know what's funny? I know we talked about video games before, but like Yamcha in Dragon Ball Fighter Z is like one of the best because
Really?
his combos is so great. And when people get beat by him, they unplug the game because they don't want to get they don't want to be admitted or get recorded that they got kicked, got their butts kicked by Yamcha.
Seriously?
Yamcha is like top tier characters, but
That's great.
so Dragon Ball is one of those animes that I just be like, wow, man, like this series would have been nothing if it like if like fun fact, like Dragon Ball wasn't really popular until they did the Budokai tournament because people wasn't really fascinated with Dragon Ball. Like, okay, well, a monkey boy searching six balls, so what? Oh, okay, you're adding his rival character Krillin and best friend. Okay, now we got a series.
Yep. Now there's fighting involved.
Yeah, there's more fighting involved instead of like goofy gimmicks.
Yep.
So that's fine. Okay, so it's number what?
7.
7? Oh, Big O.
Big O.
Yeah, Big O, man. The Japanese animated Batman series. It's one, man, it's like, wow, bro. This series, I kind of wish the series had a complete ending if it wasn't if the budget if not Toei but a Bandai, if they put more money involved and had more faith in the series, that series could have lasted longer. But first impressions, you could tell the writers was like fascinated with Batman the animated series. Of course,
Mhm.
it's just right there. Like you guys love Batman the animated series, and I don't blame you. Like, go ahead, take that. That's really awesome. That's great inspiration. So that's one of the series that got me fascinated into giant robots. I think that was my second time knowing who Steve Bloom was, because hey, that's Steve Bloom, Roger Smith. That anime, I wish it had a third season just to wrap things up, tie everything up, and just be like, hey, that's all you get, people. So what's number
6.
6? Trigun.
Ah, well, of course.
Yeah, Trigun got my name on Stampede, Vash the Stampede. It's one of those series, man, that is like, wow, this series was just different from whatever animes I was watching at the time, especially being a Western. I grew up with Westerns with my dad because that's what he watched as a kid. He like, come watch this Western with me, boy. I'm like, all right, I don't know what's going on. Like watching like the Rifleman and all the other stuff.
This one's a space Western.
Yeah, this is a space Western. So I was kind of like used to that. And also like man, you could write an essay about Vash, this Stampede's character development, his philosophy on life and whatnot. Because I know some people say, "Oh man, that's kind of dumb. Why is he like putting people being peaceful?" And then it backfires on him. I mean, we could say that with a lot of superheroes, man. Like Batman, Superman. They don't kill, but whatever comic book you're reading, which version. But yeah, it's kind of like, hey man, they're trying to do better, but hey, I guess it just keeps backfiring. And the villains was like despicable people, most of them. You had Knives and Legato Blues, so I thought they were cool. I wish the anime could have got another adaptation like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. The manga is so much different from its anime.
It is.
And it never got the proper, adaptation to that. So.
All right. That is true. I knew that was coming, but not in the top 5 though.
Oh man, top five. Okay. If I don't say this anime, I'm gonna like lie to myself. I love Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh.
both the Brotherhood and the original.
Kai, you sound so mad about it.
Because like, man, like,
does everybody say it? Is that so?
Yeah,
cliche?
everyone's saying, but it's just that good, especially the character development, especially with War Mongrel, how people handle war. Hey, you got there was like so much stuff going around. It just didn't focus on the Elwood brothers. You had people who was dealing with the homunculus. You had Van Hornheim dealing with his humanity, on how he can be a better father or how he can live a normal life. Or you got how the military was handling things. Like not everything was cookie cutter. It was like God damn, the military is like really, really messed up, especially with the Ishvalish War, and it dealt with racism. Like, come on, man, like. Like
Yeah.
if you didn't see the racism between the Ishvalish and the people who had like white skin, I don't know what she was watching, because it was just like, yeah, if you had brown skin and red eyes, you was a threat.
Yep. Yeah,
And,
man. Fullmetal Alchemist. You know, you came to the right place to say high praise about that.
oh yeah, man, I really enjoyed the characters. It's a series that I can watch over and over, and it's weird because that series is like almost a decade old.
Yeah, it's well, if you're talking
Almost,
about the original anime, it's
yeah.
almost like 20 years old, man.
Yeah, only 20 years. Like, Jesus Christ, man. It was, and I felt like, oh, man, that anime came out like 5 years ago. No, it came out years ago.
Hmm.
Like, I think with I love how the animators was like, especially the first series was like, okay, the manga's not done, so let's do our own story and see how that goes. And it was good. And then the author, the original person who made Full Metal Alchemist, she did her own thing, which was really good too. So I really can't choose between the two, because it's like you need one or the other, because I can't dismiss the persons who actually made it and the animators who went out their way to do their own thing, because the series wasn't finished.
That's true, and they made it work, which is
Yeah,
pretty much unheard of, man.
exactly. So it's kind of like, if you like both, all right, great, cool.
All
All
right,
right.
man. Made it to the number 5. I wasn't expecting that. I
Yes,
wasn't.
number 5. We're gonna say
Number 4
uh
now.
oh, number 4. I'm sorry. All right, number 4, number 4. Yu Yu Hakusho.
Now I knew that was coming.
Yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho was one of those animes that, oh my god, man, I kind of wish it had more episodes, but I get why Tagashi was just like, nah, I'm good, I'm done. It was one of those series where I look back and was like, wasn't your typical shonen where the main character was a street thug, but he had a heart full of gold. No, that was cool. Bara had the UK was like, screw everybody, bro. I'm doing my own thing, bro. I was like, man, this guy is awesome, man. He was awesome, man. I mean, I was just impressed by him, man. And you know what made Yusuke really cool? He didn't have like his supernatural powers. He was already kicking butt. At the beginning of the series, it's just like his spirit powers just enhance everything more.
Hmm.
I like how Tagashi dealt with his villains, man, especially with Toguro, younger Toguro, where, man, you can make a whole essay video about his character, because the more I thought about Toguro, I was like, oh, okay, I know everything about him. It's just like, okay, like, why did he become a demon? Him and Genkai could have had a different life, but he was like, no, I felt guilty about my students getting killed by that demon, so I'm gonna become the monster that I killed already. It was just like, wow, man, that's
Yeah,
kind
man.
of that's kind of poetic and kind of sad at the same time.
Yeah, Togoro's definitely one of my favorites. Absolutely.
And also like Sensui, man, like he was also a deep philosophical character too, and him being like, okay, well, everything is black and white, everything is good and evil. Okay, I got this. Everything is good, until he saw like the humans torturing the demons much worse, and it just flipped his whole world upside down.
His mind snapped. Yep.
His mind just snapped, and that could have went with anybody, bro. Well, maybe not Yusuke, but man, it was just like, that was a moment where everything just shattered for him, man. Where he just saw like, man, we ain't, humanity ain't nothing, man. And like, I'm protecting y'all, and y'all doing this to these demons. Screw that. So, and all, yeah, the whole cast itself, Hiei, Karama, they're awesome too. Kuwabara's awesome. The Three Kings tournament, you could tell that was a rush job, because I have the manga of the Three Kings tournament,
Hmm.
and you could tell Tagashi, like, reading up interviews, he was already exhausted at that time, and like how the anime is a little more different, where you see, is it Yumi versus Yusuke?
I think
Yumi.
so.
Yeah, like, okay, how that ended, at least there was like a conclusion, where in the manga you just see them like about to hit each other, and then it just kind of ends on Yusuke not winning the tournament. So, but I wish it had like one more season just to be like, hey, this is one more season. They could have they could have dealt with so much, such as like like more times in the spirit world
Yeah.
or hell itself, because we never really got an arc of the spirit world or hell itself. And
Would you have wanted a full-on war?
full on war on that. Like I just want an arc on either one.
Okay.
Just how it works, or what happened to the demons who just goes down there who don't get to heaven. They just
Hmm.
stuck in hell. So yeah.
Knew that was coming.
So yeah. So what, number 3?
3.
Oh man. Hold on. I got my number 2 and I got my number 2 and 1.
Okay.
So number 3 is Outlaw Star.
Well, Outlaw Star that far above Trigun. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Outlaw Star got me into like space and like Star Wars and all the other like sci-fi stuff, because I was like, man, this is awesome. Especially like the space. I don't know. I forgot what the spaceship is called, but it had like the grappling arms, and
Hmm.
I thought that was really cool. And that is rare to see anime like that hand drawn, of like having those action scenes of space flights and I don't know, it was just really bright and colorful to see something like that. I love Gene Starwind. I love Jim Hawkins, um, Malfina, Shizuka. I thought she was a cool swordsman. She used like a wooden sword though. That was kind of cool though.
That's different.
Yeah, Shasha, I think that's her name. The cat alien girl. I know. If you look up Rule 34, you'll probably find something.
Oh no.
God, but yeah, it was really cool, especially Gene Starwin's gun, where like that gun, like that weapon was so broken to me, where it was like that gun can like shoot out black holes. I was like, dude, you have a gun that can almost kill you if you use it improperly. But yeah, um Allah Star was just one of those shows that was just like, this is amazing. And there was gonna be a season 2.
Hmm.
It was gonna be called something else, but they scrapped it because it wouldn't have Gene Starwind in it,
Oh.
or the old cast. So they was like, we're not gonna do that. It was a potential to do it, but they made it into like a spinoff series that didn't really relate to Gene Starwind or the Starwind gang. So, but like that series reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy.
That sounds fair,
Yeah,
honestly.
the movie. I know Guardians of the Galaxy came out before like the comics, but if you look at Gene Starwind and you look at Star-Lord, it's like, okay, I see where you got your inspiration from, movie wise.
Probably a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, number 2.
There's a lot you didn't mention, and I'm not sure what these last two are going to be.
Don't worry, it's cool. Number 2 would my second favorite anime is the 1997 version of Berserk.
Yay!
I love that series to death, and it just made me so mad that series had potential to keep going, because it was like, wow, bro, it was basically Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones, man.
It totally was.
It was like a character piece of learning about these 3 main characters of Casca, Guts, and Griffith, man. I love the dynamic between those trio. Even though in the manga there's more details about them, I just loved like the performances, especially the English dub, man. Like, wow, this was amazing. And like I like how, like, in the Berserk, we already know demons exist,
Hmm.
but it was a slow burn with the demons, because we didn't see like a demon until Zod just came out of nowhere and was just slaughtering Griffith's army. I was like, holy crap, so you got demons in here? And like the way Berserk ended, man, it still pisses me off to this day. Even though with the movies, I've seen the movies where it keeps going in the manga. It's like, wow, y'all really could have kept going with Berserk, man. I'm like,
I don't know, man. That dark ending is just kind of perfect.
yeah, that's really true. But then I remember I had a friend. I introduced her to Berserk, and she's like, yo, Vaughn, what happens next? Where's the next episodes? I'm like, what next episodes? You know about Berserk? I'm like, you got to read the manga. She was like, I ain't got time for that. Where's the rest of the episodes? I'm like, you kind of out of luck, lady, because there ain't no episodes. So
Yeah, if that's where you end, it's kind of a sad bad taste in your mouth.
it was a bad taste. It was a bad taste in her mouth, and it was one of those moments where I was just like, wow, man, you like this was like, I think anybody who is not into anime can get into this, because it was like a character study piece,
Mm-hmm.
especially learn about these characters and who they are and Griffith's dream, and like what would you do if you was in his shoes, man? Because man, they could have went all out in the if they really wanted to, because in the manga, it's just like, holy crap, they are just like, they are not pulling their punches. You got the king sexually assaulting his daughter. You got Casca. I think if they ever like retold the story, I think they can like dial the rape of Casca a little down, man.
Probably a little bit, yeah.
Because like when she gets raped by Wyatt, I'm like, like when I was reading it, I just kept thinking to myself, like, I get this is the Arthur original intent. Could you dial it down just a little bit, man? Like, we know that she got sexually assaulted as a kid. Okay, and then she gets assaulted by Griffith.
Ugh.
Okay. And then when you discover the manga, okay, she gets sexually assaulted by Wyatt. I'll be like, could you stop?
Stop it. Yeah, we get it. Yeah.
You get it? Like, if they ever remake or redo that scene of Wyatt, they may have Casca get captured or get hold off. And I know it's not gonna be the original intent, but you have the book. It's just one of those things where I'm just like, what? This demon is about to shove his mushroom tip up Casca, and I'm just kind of like, I'm over it. Like,
Yeah.
stop it. That's like I'm not trying to be like a feminist or anything like that. It's just you can pull back on that. You could really pull back on that and still have her look like she's about to get sexually assaulted, but she doesn't.
I got you.
Because like in a story basis, kind of like, okay, she gets sexually assaulted by Wyatt after they save Griffith, and then she gets sexually assaulted again by the person who saved her. It's like, dude, it's too much. She got sexually assaulted twice. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's enough.
At least save it. Okay, we gonna not have her get sexually assaulted by Wyatt, but Griffith. Okay, fine, because that's an important part. Sorry, man.
No, I get it. Your favorite show might still have some issues.
Yeah.
I knew Berserk was coming, but I thought it might have been your number one. So now I'm wondering what number one is.
Okay, my number one. Sorry, I had to text this person. My sister was texting my niece.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of my niece, it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, okay. So the whole thing?
Yeah, I really love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I was thinking, I know you love JoJo. It's got to be here somewhere. Okay.
Yep, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Reason why I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is not like any other anime I have ever seen, especially how it's framed, the color schemes,
character designs,
character design, the musical references. If if you had a talk with Araki and he says, "No, I am not a Prince fan," he is lying to you. Mostly of his designs, especially like Josuke and Giorno, including Part 5, they're basically all designed by Prince. Mm-hmm. I love like the endings of like JoJo, because it's like, okay, JoJo has got me excited with its ending songs, because we got Roundabout by Yes. We got I don't know who sings the song Walk Like an Egyptian.
Oh yeah, that one.
We got Last Train Home. We got I can't think of that 90s band who we had that 90s band. We had Jodeci. We had like a techno German pop ending. It's like, man, okay, what's gonna be your next ending? Because that's really cool. You got me fascinated. You got me fascinated just watching the endings. Like, I don't usually watch anime endings. I kind of watch it one time and be done. But then
Well,
I'm
that's
watching,
because man, they're getting like actually copywritten banned music, and they're
yeah,
putting it at the end. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool, bro. Because a lot of people was kind of upset that part 5 Golden Wind didn't have Gangster Paradise, and I guess maybe the studio Warner Brothers heard that people said put Gangster Paradise because they got gangsters. They're like, man, let's just put Jodeci, bro, and just call it a day. We gonna put R&B on here, man. You know how that surprised me putting R&B music in an anime? Like only like I could think of 3 animes that has R&B music in it.
Mm-hmm.
4. It's not a high number, man. It is
No.
not a high number. You got rap, hip hop, pop, and maybe something that's like super K-pop, J-pop, but that's really different. I like how we have like each different arc that goes from like the 1800s to like a different universe. That's kind of cool. It doesn't make the storytelling stale, because you know how like other typical shonen animes like Dragon Ball, especially Naruto and Bleach, where we're like, oh, okay, near the end of whatever arc, we see that the main character has a kid now. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so what? It's like, so what? It's like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's like, okay, we got Jonathan Joestar, and then part 2 we got his grandson Joseph Joestar. Oh wow, 50 years has passed. That's a long time. And all the Joestars are different from each other. They're not the same character. Like the only thing that the Joestars are similar to each other is Jonathan's influence of doing the right thing.
Yes. That
That is,
kind of sticks with them throughout the generations.
yeah,
But you're
that's
right. Everyone's
that.
different.
Yeah, everyone is different, and that's cool. Like, okay, everyone is different. Everyone has their own motives. Everyone has like a different setting. Where, hey, you got Phantom Blood, which is like Nosferatu. Joe, Battle Tendency is Indiana Jones. Part 3 is Around the World in 80 Days. Part 4 is Twin Peaks. Part 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 5 is The Sopranos, and part 6 is Shawshank Redemption. And
Everything is a reference to something else.
yeah, everything's a reference to something else. Hey, heck, part 7 is like the Wild West. We could just put anything in the Wild West. And then part 6 and part 8 is just basically Twin Peaks, but it's back again. So like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is like it's like my all-time favorites, man. I go super fanboy when I talk about this show, man. Like the music, the moves, the moo das, the ra da 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 da, the sound effect. It is like wow. And it took in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, we didn't really get like, we got the OVA adaptation, but that lasted from 1993 to 2000.
Yeah,
So
they had a break there.
they had a huge break, and then it didn't really get a proper anime until 2013,
12,
2012.
12, I think.
And like, because they couldn't adapt it to the manga, and I'm like, whoa, what would JoJo be like if it came out during the 80s? Because it's because I like the aesthetics and how it's done with the color effects. It's just like, wow, it just pops into your eyes.
Yeah, man. I will admit, I think in terms of just how they use the colors, I think it's one of the most beautiful. It's really cool.
Yeah, and the poses and like the memes going around, it's just like, holy shit, you guys are just um y'all just upping the ante with this anime, man. A decade, almost like a 30-year anime. It's a 30-year-old anime, bro.
Kind of. Yeah, yeah, actually, because that's,
Because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
30 years, yeah, 30 some years. Because you know what, like, I learned that Araki, when he was doing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it was really taboo to have a main character who wasn't like Japanese.
Really.
Yeah, because Araki was so inspired by like the 80s action flicks like Stallone and Schwarzenegger, and that was his inspiration until like those macho guys kind of like died down, and he made his characters a little skinnier, a little like, okay, this is something where it's like a little realistic. So like that is really interesting, man, because JoJo, I remember people talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in the manga, but it was just like you probably had like an extension to part 3, and that's it.
That's it.
But everybody knows about like, okay, we got part 1 and part 8 and part 2. Like I remember me and Hero, I remember I was watching Hero's videos where he was saying like Jotaro was like the most popular Joestar, but now Joseph's like probably like almost next to him because of his personality and his quips, and the anime just made him more like likable.
You're right, because part 3 was kind of the primary exposure people had to it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of cool because it still got people interested. And I mean, people long before this new anime came out, Dio was still a legend and like the villains. You know, he
Mm-hmm.
really was.
And now you got like, well, people already know about Dio. You got Yoshikage Kira, Cars, the Pillar Man, Diavolo, who we just wrapped up. So it's like, wow. And people is like hungry for like part 6 right now, because this is going to be our first woman lead, you know,
Yep.
Jolene. That's going to be very interesting to do, because I think we all know JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is like copyright, you know, because they had to change a few things. Like the thing that like a lot of people saying like, why is Florida in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Now we know why it's in, you know, there, because Florida is crazy, and we know that they're gonna stop by a Disney World at one point of the story.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is like my favorite anime ever. It's one of those I can just look at again and again and analyze or find something new to it.
Sweet, man. Yeah, we're gonna have to have some JoJo conversations again at some point.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. No, yeah, man. All right. Well, you went through the rounds. You went through 3 top tens, dude.
Oh yeah, cool.
You made it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't think this was the longest one I've done, but it's definitely a good one. Man, well, it was good to catch up with you.
Mm-hmm.
Good to actually hear you're doing great with your channel. I like the new direction it's going.
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm gonna check out the other video for sure, man. Absolutely. I'm gonna have to. You got anything coming up planned in the near future with it? Some new videos we can expect?
So I am doing I think this will be released before or after, but hey, whatever. I'm doing Bill Weathers. You remember Bill Weathers?
Yes, the others.
Yeah, he made the song "Lean on Me" and
Of
"Ain't No
course.
Sunshine."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing that video on him, and then I'm gonna take a break, because those videos, a lot of people don't know I'm doing all this by myself and I'm working at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and life, and also I'm seeing my niece every Sunday, and I don't get back home. I'm just tired. So these videos, they take their time.
Mm-hmm.
It especially if I'm doing voiceover, I'm gathering all the clips, I'm doing everything by myself. It's not easy, especially if you want to get it right. If you want to, like, hey, if you're doing a voiceover or film itself, or if you're doing like anything like a film project, you want to make sure it looks right some type of way.
That is true, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I tell you, you're very meticulous with what you do, and you produce some pretty good videos lately. And I can tell you're really methodical about it. So that's awesome, man.
Oh, thanks, man. It's just like I said, these videos take time and whatnot, because I'm really passionate about like rhythm and blues, and like shit, just explain it to the people who don't know. They probably like, okay, maybe I want to check out this artist every now and then, or maybe you heard a song, maybe you heard that song from somebody else, but you didn't know it originated from that.
Exactly. No, I mean it's actually interesting for me because there's a lot of stuff you put up there. I don't know a lot about these artists, so it's actually cool. It's new information too. So you've got a cool product where you're making these videos where it's really interesting for people that know about it to go back and reflect and talk about it, but also you're telling people about it that don't know anything.
Yeah, and also like go check out the real Unsung. They're like 20 minutes long episodes. That's where I got the idea from, but like they haven't covered the artists that I put on my channel at all. So I'm like, man, you better talk to some of these artists before they are gone.
Yeah. Get some
'Cause,
inspiration from you.
yeah, like dude, like take it. I'm not making money off of this. Like do it. Like I'm like like God forbid, I'm like y'all should do a Gap band because like Charlie Murphy's like 60 something years old, and I'm like, man, just have him talk about what happened with the Gap band because like his other brother passed away years ago.
Oh,
So it's like, man, like you got to talk to these older artists before they're gone, and it's too late.
no, you're right, man. They probably should. I mean, there's a lot of artists that honestly probably should be interviewed.
Yeah,
A lot of great stories.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, thank you for coming on here. I'm kind of going through and I'm trying to see if I can get some of the old, Phantom Group people together,
Hmm.
have them back and catch up with people with everything going on now, checking up on people. So it's been going well so far. I'd like to have you back on sometime. And if you have the time, maybe we can do some old calls on the Phantom Group channel.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I would like to do that. It just depends on the time because I work from 11 to 4 o'clock in 11 p.m. to 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's the time I picked. So I was kind of like whatever at the time.
Hey,
So
no, it's no big deal. It's That's one of those things, man. Is like people have a lot less free time than they used to. Everybody's got stuff going on, so
yeah,
it's totally okay. But hey, if you're ever available when we're doing it, we'd love to have you, and we'll talk about some things. We're hoping to make it a semi-regular thing where maybe not once every 2 years.
yeah, man, I get it. Everybody's busy with their lives and whatnot, man. And hey, things happen, and everybody is like doing whatever, man. Cause hey, I was like, this, the Phantom Group. I was like, wow, bro, we kind of been talking to each other on and off for years. And I was like, hey man, it'd be cool just to see, one of you guys every now and then. But then it's Corona came and just screwed everything up. So I can't really meet people even in my state. I'm like, dang, I can't even see people until this lifts up a little bit.
Well, hopefully soon.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
hopefully soon. So
All right, man. Well, on that note, well, everybody, go ahead and subscribe to his channel. If you're interested in anything, hopefully we'll have him back on again sometime. But this was Von the Stampede.
yes, thank you.
You are welcome. All right, everyone. Stay magical.